Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and I went ahead and took the liberty of watching episodes 2 through episode 7, not all in one sitting, but I did it enough in a batch in a day to where we could be able to put it all in one video together and kind of get the full SB19 guide from a fan like Casual Chuck, who has done a lot of research, a lot of correction within his research to be as best of an advocate on behalf of SB19 that one can find on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to taking a look here. Casual Chuck, thanks for making these to where I can enjoy alongside my own followers and alongside yours, to where we get to have this kind of like feedback, collaborative effort together. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Disclaimer, this video is only based on my personal research. I might miss some details and it's possible to have discrepancies, but I did my best to get as much accurate information as possible, so enjoy. Just a quick correction to episode 1. Josh didn't only recruit Ken, but also Justin. Josh told Justin about the workshop, which gave him the opportunity to become a show BT trainee. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the video.
Get in the zone! Right.
The zone's affiliated with W3 in some
Everyone
way.
has that one thing,
right?
that
The
makes
studio
them
they
feel
practice
good about
in.
themselves.
I could be wrong, but
Like they're in control. Everything else could be going completely haywire.
Ano ba yan, STELL? Ano ba yung ayos mo yan? Talagang style yan.
Like the world is completely falling apart around you.
Minsan na makita ng tao kung gaano kami naghihirap.
But when you're doing that one thing, life is wonderful.
I just saw Jollibee in the background. I really want to try that.
And that makes everything worth it.
That cake looked good too.
몬테로 씨, 검사 결과가 나왔습니다.
임신인가요?
아니요, 임신은 아닙니다.
Then why do I feel weak lately?
Mrs. Montero, you are HIV positive.
Addie Hong. She could have easily become a popular celebrity in the Philippines.
Ooh.
Back in Korea, she was a well-established theater actress, a vocal, dance, and beauty coach, a one-woman show. But instead, she chose to use her experience to guide and nurture the boys to reach their highest potential. Along with Tatang Robin, she was also one of the main reasons why SB19 is where they are now. She is popularly known as Miss Hongganda, and we will see her
Hongganda.
often in this video.
Hongganda.
Before SB19's debut, they tried to establish an online presence. So on May 16, 2018, they created their Facebook page. This could possibly be the unofficial date they were formed. They started posting song covers like these.
Send me your location, let's focus on communication.
Oh.
I just need the time and place to come through.
That's a hard song to actually cover to get it sounding like him. Your location.
And dance covers like these.
I liked that one. This is ridiculous.
They became more active in social media while maintaining the regular performances.
Hold
in
on,
small
did it
events.
just say 150 YouTube subscribers? Oh, that's adorable! I love that. Oh, 1,000 Facebook likes and 150. Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, that's so cool.
In
I love
social
it.
media while
Love
maintaining
it.
the regular performances in small events. They did this until it was almost time for their debut.
We have good news for you guys. Kasi after the very, very long wait, finally, Yes, finally, we will be releasing our debut single entitled
Yay!
October 26, 2018. SB19 finally debuted with their ballad single called De La Luha.
Hold on,
But did you know-
what date was that? See, look, I keep forgetting. October 26th. Got it. Okay. Part of me had thought for the longest time until I learned what 19 was literally yesterday, the time of me recording this, was I thought they debuted in 2019. But no, they debuted in 2018. Got it.
6, 2018. SB19 finally debuted with their ballad single called De La Luha. But did you know that it wasn't the only song that they had at the time? They also had Love Goes, but they chose to debut with De La Luha to capture the hearts of the Filipino people because the lyrics are in Tagalog. They then started promoting their debut song in every way they could think of. November 17, 2018 marked SB19's first ever live stream to promote their debut single.
Magsimulan natin ang first SB Talent Camp Facebook Live.
Facebook Live.
Three.
3.
Let's wait for 10 viewers.
Despite the very few viewers, they went all out to entertain them.
Wow. Wow. Smart. That's smart.
Sa wakas, dumating na rin ang oras na aking pinakahihintay. Matagal-tagal na rin nagsalay. Sige lang, sige, hanggang para bang wala pang nga bang nadarama. Bigay mo na, machine gun, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Said sit back down. Oh, it's hard. Parkour! You know what that reminds me of? There's this trend where this guy would, they would play a zipper sound, or they would show somebody zipping, and then he would replicate the sound. It's like a beatboxer, right? And everybody around it would lose their minds. So I love stuff like that, where that's a really cool thing, especially to do in it looks like a hotel room or a lobby or somewhere, but where everyone freaks out about something that is seemingly small, right? I love stuff like that.
Yep, they did all that in front of just a little over 10 viewers. You can still watch the whole live stream to this day on their official Facebook page.
There's something sorry, Chuck, I interrupted you. Something I want to say about that. I really appreciate that it's more reflective on their character of being able to, for 10 people, and I don't know at the time in 2018 how, 10 people compared to what the baseline equivalents of today's time would be, right? Because I would say there's an inflation of viewership for things at times as well, depending. I could be so wrong, but it's cool that they were able to, we got to see them really try their best. And really, it does come across as they're appreciative that they had 10 viewers watch. I think that was great. And I'm always very thankful when I see who I have, come in and interact. And it can feel very daunting if you start a live stream and no one's on it. It could feel very lonely, and it could feel a little awkward, and you could feel embarrassed a bit. Is there anybody who even wants to watch? You know what I mean? So I resonate with that. And if you're somebody who's like, oh man, look at him now. There are probably still groups today that are, in that stage right now that if you've encountered them before, you could be a part of the, OG live stream people that, over time, maybe that can be a type of support that helps them in their future endeavors. So never negate the power of presence in multiple spaces, regardless if a group is popular or not. We know they're popular, but back then they weren't. So it's you know, a lot of times there's people who have really good discernment on knowing if someone has a quality that's gonna help them be successful in their respective industry. I think there's also qualities of fans who could pick out people or pick out teams and you're like, that's a good team, I want to follow them because of what they're bringing, not because of who their existing fan base is. So I want you to know, if you're that kind of person, we love people like that.
Also
That's
performed
sweet.
in schools, malls, nursing homes, and even orphanages, but their debut only received a lukewarm reception. The stream count didn't move as fast as they have hoped for.
I get that.
Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. But their grind continued.
It's hard, but that's something that you gotta
After
do
the disappointing
sometimes.
debut, they started preparing for a comeback.
Today, nandito kami sa recording studio. Nagre-record kami ng kanta namin. Ito mismo yung parang kwento ng SB19.
Yung lyrics mismo ng song namin is about pangarap ng SB19. Parang nagsimula yung lahat.
Ito po talaga yung kantang gugulat sa lahat.
They collaborated with a critically acclaimed Korean producer,
Oh,
Oh
Lee.
Lee, who's behind the success of TVXQ and Stray Kids. Pablo, with the help of the boys, wrote the song as they began to enter the go-up era. They started practicing their go-up dance routine, which was intricately choreographed by STELL and Ken. They were required to practice 30 times daily until they reached 1,000 reps. And boy, they did it. They were even challenged to perform the dance routine at double speed.
When you practice it as much as they have, oh Lord, STELL, Naruto run. They don't have to think about the
Yep,
dance.
that was not even in fast forward.
It's just,
Now that they have reached the quota, it was time for them to shoot the music video.
yeah, practicing as much as they
July
did for that.
2019. SB19 dropped their
That's
Go
good.
Up music video. Expectations were higher because this was the song that showcased their singing, dancing, and songwriting skills. But for some reason, it has also met a lukewarm reception. They then started promoting the song using the methods they know. They even reacted to their own music video. But none of their efforts made a significant impact.
I understand
After
that.
You would think that it was the biggest setback.
Because a lot of times what people don't know is depending on the social media platform, there's an algorithm that's in play with it that you have to, there's a certain time of day that works best for your baseline audience. That's what subscribers are. It's considered a baseline audience that you have a little checkbox in your video description before you publish it on whether or not you want that video to be notified to your subscribers. Then there's also the option of you don't have to select it and it just goes out into the world and your subscribers are not notified of it. And that also, of course, is dependent on whether or not your subscriber has the bell icon on, which is why you see a lot of people like, make sure you turn it on because then you're actually able to see when they release videos. But sometimes you get too much. I get that. But point being is that there's an algorithm that's you hear people talk about all the time. And it's very real, and depending on the platform will determine how tedious you have to be in order to actually meet it or kind of work with it in your favor. And then in other cases, it's kind of luck a little bit in that sense too, because the media platforms are not going to tell you everything, right? So I would say in a nutshell that YouTube, I've heard from many people, YouTube's one of the few that you can crack the code to a certain extent where you're able to build a little bit better than getting like the virality skyrocket of, people joining you and then you not meeting their expectation. Or does that make sense? Like it's like a whole little thing. But my point though is I understand the grind and how a lot of times the grind doesn't get met. Because when I release something that works well one time and then I release the same thing, not the exact same thing, but let's say the same artist later on, it doesn't get met with barely anything. it can feel very disheartening, like you're doing something wrong. A lot of times it's not quite that. It just depends on how your baseline audience receives it, the time of day that they receive it, how long you guys watch it. Do you leave a comment? Do you like it? It's how you interact with it that determines where it goes from there. And then sometimes videos get recommended on Reddit, they get recommended on Twitter from other YouTubers. And then, you see how that can fluctuate the long time viewership of a said thing. So that's why you see a lot of times songs that pop off or go viral later on in someone's career compared to when it came out, because maybe the timing of it was a little bit different, right? So that's a fun little tidbit there from the YouTube side where I really, really resonate with. But perseverance and continuing to look in oneself and grow, and what they're doing is the best you can do, honestly. They're doing a great job, and they're not buying views. They're not trying to get bots to manipulate or anything. They really want it to be an organic thing, so I respect that.
But not until August 17, 2019. This was when the Goa press conference happened. This was supposed to be an effort for them to establish a presence in the media world. They were interviewed by professional journalists, but instead of receiving a warm welcome, most of what they got was straight up disrespect.
Really?
Pero kanina pa ako ba? Ano ba yan, Stell? Ano yung ayos mo yan? Talagang style yan.
Is that a style?
Yan yung Stella.
Whoa!
Yung name ko po, STELL, kasi po galing po siya, yung full name ko po is STELL Bester po. Ako, STELL Bester po. Opo, kasi po yung mama ko po, idol niya po si
Sylvester Stallone. Oh.
Tapos po, yung style ko naman po ngayon, actually po, hindi ko po alam.
That's like a K-pop style.
Naisip ko, ito yung suot ko, sige, ganito na kami po. O, parang ganito po, yun na po yung naisip ko. Pero, wala po.
So lahat kayo straight.
Opo. Pero, may gulat po. May gulat po. Sa kanya po gulat talaga ako. Wala naman po masama doon. Hindi ba siguro nilawin ko na po yung STELL? Kasi po, madalas po siya yung since matagal na po kami magkaibigan, Bruce din po kasi siya madalas sa mga babae. So siguro po, baka kung akalain nyo medyo weird po yung
Kasi kung may kapasyon na yun, mga paano mag-blacker.
Ay. Bali mo, STELL sa umaga, STELL sa gabi.
Okay.
Pero yun nga po, ganun lang po siguro, medyo meron lang po siya ibang parang manners na girly, pero hindi po, wala po ganun sa isla.
Na-clear na kanina about sa maging issue. Kasi sabi niyo kanina may mga pahong minsan sa kaya.
You're not bothered by the fact that you sound like a kid. Hindi kayo napapaalam sa tunog nyo na hindi kayo pinipito kung di ko yan.
Hindi po kami nababagay kasi po,
Sa kapatid na po.
Oh.
Despite all the judgment, they handled the interview professionally. As the event concluded, the boys broke down to tears backstage and comforted each other. Perhaps they're just human beings, and the thick skin they develop all throughout those years can only take so much punishment, especially when it went straight to their hearts. They all broke down. This made them question themselves if they were still doing the right thing.
Oh.
It casted so much doubt that it made them all decide to call it quits. Everyone left, except STELL. He received the most hate, but he was the one left standing. Perhaps he was a good
Interesting.
example of someone who has entered the zone. Someone who managed to tap into the altered state of consciousness where time disappears and he becomes so focused that not even judgment could stop him from doing what he loves. But he knew for a fact that he can never do it alone.
Okay, touching on a couple of things here. I don't know a lot about the Filipino culture in terms of what is presented as the Filipino sound compared to the Korean sound. I know a lot about the K-pop scene, significantly more than most industries outside of the one that I reside in within America. So I don't know what are the nuanced differences between the Filipino music industry and the Korean. Maybe over time we'll be able to figure that out together. With their track Go Up, it does give the impression of a typical K-pop boy group kind of choreography. That doesn't, but also I had the beauty of a marathon where I got to continue with that. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's considered playing the game. I'm not saying that's what they were inherently doing, but to a certain extent, you have to play the game of being able to, okay, here is the, here's what typically works well for this type of market. So we're going to do that thing because that typically gets received well. It's a safer avenue to do. So because if you're going off of, you want to really, show, hey, we're a Filipino group, and they did the track that they did as their official debut, and then they did go up second, it is disheartening to not receive positive feedback from your own people that they're not a fan of it. Hi, Carlos. There's the journalists, there's a certain degree of ignorance there, right? And that's not something that they have to take responsibility for, obviously. And it was very hurtful, right? Could there be a way to ask questions that, are able to be respectful to who you're talking to? Absolutely. And that also is another thing. I don't know about the paparazzi or about journalism in the Philippines. I do know more about America, and I understand the format of how people take photos at award shows in America compared to Korea. And we've shared thoughts together when I've looked at specifically BTS's behind the scenes, because they've done award shows in America and in Korea. So you can see both with them. So I just find I find it more, I'm just being a listening ear, and I'm just very intrigued by this. I do think it's hurtful, and getting thick skin is something that it really sucks, but it is an element too if you're going to do any line of work, even for me, what I do here, because I look at a lot of material, and there's a lot of times where I'm constructive, right? And there's going to be cases where there are many, many people who are not fans of me being constructive about something in the way that I was. And I have to take ownership of that, right? And I have a choice. It's either I change or I double down, or I try to be consistent, or I try to be what is beneficial to who I'm doing this for. Because a lot of times I do reviews on behalf of somebody else, or I get permission to review something. So it's a really tricky thing. It's really unfortunate because when you invest so much of yourself, I'm not saying that Go Up did not have their emotional investment within it. No, I'm glad that it did, right? But it's also was there a little bit of, based on the movement quality that we saw, it felt like a typical boy group? Yeah, but also catered more towards the K-pop structure of things, but that would make sense based on who they had as their, as their aid and what groups they were covering. They had a heavy BTS influence in their movement quality, and you saw that reflected in their work. That's not inherently a bad thing. That's just something that, would that contribute to the possible disconnect if you look like a Korean pop group, not a Filipino pop group, possibly, so I understand the basis of that question, but the delivery of it could have absolutely, I think, have been a little bit more professional, I guess, or if that's how professional journalism is, could there be a potential, maybe we should look at this as the journalism community, and how can we be better about stewarding these types of questions for who we're talking to, right? But once again, that may not be my place, and that's okay. But yeah, that's really hurtful. But also the common denominator that I'm noticing here is with STELL, he stayed here just like he was the only one who stayed back in the day. So I'm very curious, has anybody actually asked STELL why he stayed? I would assume yes, because it's happened multiple times, it's a pattern, right? So it's very interesting.
And there he was, alone. But only for a moment. Josh had a realization to not give up because people have
once again, who was it? Josh.
not seen everything yet.
Okay.
This prompted the other members to return and witness their lives change in just one fateful day when their Go Up dance practice got uploaded on YouTube on September 2, 2019. It quickly went viral, which opened a lot of doors for...
They are under the Philippine branch of Korean company. So there you go. If it's a Korean company, you guys look like a Korean group. Well, it's because the company's marketing or all of that pertains what they know is K-pop. So it makes sense why they're going to naturally lean that direction. I didn't find that as something to be bothered by. You should talk to the company president about that, not the group. Talking about that journalism question, like that didn't make sense to say there. But then he also asked, "Are you not bothered by it?" Okay.
SB19 to have TV guest
Didn't feel any
live
cringe.
performances.
No, right? They look. They got rewarded for it. They played the game and it worked. There's a reason why it's structured that way.
Introduce yourself. Get in the zone. Hi, we are SB19.
Oh, get in the zone. Okay, it's part of their tag. right?
My name is Spice Kita. I am the wittiest ABS.
As
Love
the world
it.
started to notice them, their YouTube
Oh,
channel grew
cute.
exponentially.
Yay!
Their dance practice video reached 1 million views in just a week.
That's
Then 2
amazing.
million a month later.
That's awesome.
Wait a minute. Who's Arum? November 2, 2019.
So for the final announcement of the fandom name, 3, 2, 1.
Aiton. Cute. Why Aiton? What's it mean? 18. 18.
SB19. 19.
Oh my god, he's a vibe. But also, they debuted technically in 2018, so it would be like the fans. Okay, cool.
So if there's no 18, then also there's no SB19.
Nice.
Kasi kumbaga, syempre, 18 muna mag 17, 18, 19. Pag walang 18,
You can't get to 19.
another meaning. So if you're going to read this 18, it could also be read as ating. So,
Ating.
all success,
Ours. Oh.
natatamo natin yun, ating
It's
po.
ours.
Everything is
I would say the same thing. Anything that I accomplish or anything that we see as a successful situation within this confines here of doing this, 1,000,000,000%, it is because of a collective effort. It is not solely because of me. Rarely at all. It's so I wholeheartedly appreciate and value, and I see that, and I love that that is a thing, and I love that they care about that, because it does matter. As much as somebody would want to claim that they did it all by themselves, is bullcrap. It's not possible to do something solely by yourself. You know, there's always other factors that go in, such as somebody sharing something at the right time, or somebody investing the way that they did at that time. It's a constant butterfly effect all the time. That requires multiple people and multiple factors, not just you.
everyone. Kumbaga, represent. Kumbaga, yung dreams natin, pangarap, problems, everything.
Our problems, we share it.
Ating yan, kalaban tayo, kaya natin yan lahat. Lastly,
We're gonna fight.
Gusto namin special mention yung Oro sa lahat-lahat. Kasi sa totoo lang, talagang sila yung
Wow,
unang
Autumn.
sumuporta sa amin nung hindi pa nila, wala pang nakakilala sa amin sa grupo namin. Kaya thankful kami. Dahil ayun wala yan, ibig sabihin ng Oro.
Autumn.
Oro and SB19.
So that was like OG fans. This guy, he is on, you see how on cloud 9 he is? He's like, we hit it. We hit the gold mine. We hit the jackpot. Look at this dude. He is happy. We will go up. Yay!
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when 18 was born.
Cute. We love it. I'm so curious, what do they do in celebration
So what
of
does it mean to
Aiton's
be in the
name?
zone?
Like the
Was it
announcement.
really only STELL that entered it? If you think about it, even before the other members decided to quit, they were already
Oh my gosh, Carlos, that was his tail. I'm so sorry.
done with the dance
Good job.
practice. That alone made the press conference irrelevant. It didn't even matter that it happened. It turned out that actually all of them have always been in the zone. Being in the zone is what allowed them to defy all the odds. It was the zone that allowed a 5-foot man in the NBA. It was the zone that allowed a man living in the streets to rise up and become a billionaire. It was the zone that took an idea from someone's head to the moon. It was the zone that won wars, and lack of it had lost. It is the zone that
That was from
separates their
300.
ideas and dreams from a materialistic reality. Manny, Ephraim, Catriona, SB19. What do they have in common?
Dude, the wave. it. So this was really nice. Once again, very insightful. And I know I would like to say, even with the interview, a lot of times having an interview like that will create more loyal fans out of it. A lot of times, even though we're like, okay, their dance practice is what got them on the map in terms of people knowing who they are, but it wasn't just that. People normally get curious about other material that happens. That interview was going to be one of them. They're going to be like, oh, I wonder, I haven't seen them do an interview before. Let's look at this. And then they see, and they could be like, oh, I cannot believe that they received something like that. And that would cause somebody to want to go up to bat and to protect and want to advocate for them, right? And so that's why it's like, as terrible as that was, that could be a really good stepping stone for somebody to want to act and want to be of service to somebody because they don't want them to have to fight alone. You know what I mean? So
Would you believe me if I said that SB19 would be successful if I met them 3 years ago? You'd probably think I'm cheating because I'm talking from the present. And your past self would never believe me because I might have only seen them as a trying-hard boy group who had to wear the same clothes over and over and over and over again.
It's kind of
because they couldn't
funny.
afford a nice variety. But what if despite all this, they already knew what's gonna happen?
Itong mga to, sigurado ako in the future, magiging successful kami.
They knew their destiny. Pablo's username reads, I'm Seasmite. A random fan asked, why? He answered, it also means seismic, like Earth's vibrations. It's something big and important, so when I seize the mic, I create this impact, like an earthquake. And when an earthquake happens, you know what's next after that? Are you sure you don't know? Do you actually want me to spell it out to you? Okay, let me show you.
that's funny. Come on, video editing skills. Gosh. I just can't get over how much source material he's using. It's so epic. Parkour.
Yeah, that's Pablo. If you're new here, you're probably wondering how he ended up there. This is called triple. Finally, they were starting to go up. They were very young. This was the time when they were still trying to figure out their musical identity. Enter the Get in the Zone album. Just check out the level of variety. It was definitely a mix of everything.
It was.
The bashers immediately saw this as a weakness. They were seen as a group who didn't know what they were doing. Despite all the hate, A-Team didn't get affected as they started to get to know the boys on a deeper level.
What's interesting is that a lot of times, you do see this in K-pop groups all the time, is we're figuring out what identity or what kind of artistic direction we want to go as a group. A lot of times a group's going to start out doing what the company asks them to do, and then over time you get to see them kind of modify and refine to what they're passionate about. A lot of times you're noticing this more with Gen 2, Gen 3 groups because they're at an age where they've done their time under the company policies of concept. It's a very strange thing to say, but I wonder if others have noticed that. As being a Gen 2 fan, that's something I definitely have noticed. Seeing a lot of Gen 2s have comebacks, Gen 3s getting to the age where they're still together, they're hitting the double digits of being together, and seeing, you know, what kind of freedom of sound they're able to explore because the company is now able to trust them to be able to produce what they want, or they have a fan base that's going to be more accepting of that. But there's a lot of natural sensitivity towards a group in the inception of their debut with a lot of companies where they're like, okay, you need to like, kind of like low-key, not low-key prove yourself, but it kind of gives that impression. I wonder if others feel that way, where here's this sound that we're going for sonically, but is that the direction that they stay the whole time of their career? A lot of groups, the answer is no. So I wonder if that's something that was kind of introduced with SB19, is we have a variety of different tracks because we have a lot to say and we have a lot of different genres we want to explore. Is it a mix of we're still refining who we are as people? Maybe, I don't quite know, but it's definitely not helpful whenever you have a public opinion that works against you, especially, you know, adding the press conference and things like that. So I feel like we are treading into that territory of they're very not set on where they are. They understand the intention behind their choices, which is going to be reflective in their music. More so that.
We get to know their
We get to see
outside.
that more.
Sige naman po, nung na-meet ko to dati sa cover group, parang sabi ko, feeling ko mayabang to, parang ganun po, mayabang to, tapos, tumbling ka pa dyan.
Tumble.
Tumbling pa to.
Wow.
Parang
Judgmental
lagi siya
style.
hindi po siya bilong sa amin.
Tinanong siya ng teacher namin, sa tingin mo sino pinakamagaling sumayaw? Ako! Sabi niya po.
Ako po, sinabi ko po talaga.
Ay, kung confident ka naman, bakit
Yes
hindi,
po,
di ba?
ang galing ko po talaga.
Si Justin po, yung ako nakita ko, pogi. Siguro mayabang.
Si Justin naman po, nung una ko po siya nakita, sabi ko, typical guy. Parang gano'n.
Sorry, si Justin po, parang pure, parang innocent. Pero nung nalaman ko hindi.
Oh, rat him out.
Si STELL, sobrang friendly po. Siya po yung happy feel namin.
Di ko alam na siya pala yung main vocal ko kasi akala ko magaling na talaga siya sumayaw.
Oh.
First impression ko kay Josh, mabait po siya na mayabang po na.
Tinatry niya lang maging maangas, pero deep inside, hindi
Not
talaga.
really.
Kasi si Jun, akala ko po hindi siya yung leader.
Nung una, ang weird niya po, nagsasalita mag-isa, parang bigla na lang siya nagagano. Isang tabi po, nakatayo siya sa gilid. Tapos may training kami, biglang gagano. Tapos biglang gagano. Gagano po siya sa gilid. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa na? Nagre-ritual ba ka sa gilid?
We also got to know their internal battles.
That was a fun interview. Yeah. Wow. I resonate with that. Oh. Real talk. Nice. Are we all getting emotional? Oh no. Wow. And he went. Right. Wow.
And just like that,
Butterfly effect,
SB19
baby.
got us into their zone. So back to the album.
AutoZone.
As unique as each of the songs was, all 7 of them managed to reach the #1 spot of Billboard's Lyric Fine Global chart. It's still insane thinking about it today. And they weren't done. They also appeared in Billboard's top Social 50, peaking at #3. Or so they thought.
And aside from that, eto nagbabasa rin ako ng mga comments naman sa ating comment section. Kasi di ba yung last na pinost niyo is #3 kayo sa Billboard Social 50. Pero ngayon, #2 na kayo, guys!
Wow.
At Billboard Social 50.
They're like,
yung mga
what?
comment dito. And #6 na kayo. #7, di ba, nung last yung pinost. #6 na. Virgin Artist, congratulations!
Yay!
in a live interview because he had to check it himself.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
I do that on live stream. I'm like, yo, let me pull it up on my second screen.
September
That's why I
1st,
have it.
2020, a well-known artist canceled an Instagram live interview with MTV scheduled for the next day. So MTV
So
host
they got
Kevin
it.
Kinney invited SB19
They
on
got
short
it.
notice to fill in.
That's right. You know who else had a situation like that? BTS. Their debut they got to have on stage because they needed was it Mnet? I forgot who it was. They needed an act to fill in that space. So I'm telling you, man, butterfly effect all over
An
the freaking place.
opportunity knocked, they answer.
Right there, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Who wants to go first?
For me, I would like to collaborate with Mr. Bruno Mars.
Hey.
Kevin made a bold prediction.
We ask a lot of people for interviews. A lot of people that you want us to interview, we take it very seriously when we reach out. Some people, you'd be amazed, don't have the time of day, can't find the time, can't do it. Oh, that's tough. Okay, no harm, no foul. Then there's the people that are like, name the time, name the place for that.
Right.
SB19 did that at 9 p.m. They've never done an Instagram Live. They didn't know if they could be together. They made it a point to not only be together at 9
p.m.
because they knew that was the only time that it worked for this US-based host. That type of work ethic is going to take them very far in the music industry.
Yeah, he's not inherently wrong with that. It's the there's the people who are going to say yes to things. Now, there is a difference between being exploited and then also not taking an opportunity because you think you are better than that circumstance, right? So I think it is fantastic that they did that because, hey, it's a really good opportunity to kind of, dive into a different market or dive into the market of your goal, right? So I'm glad that he brought this up because there's, there's sometimes when you see people who reach a certain degree of success that they start, I don't know, gatekeeping availability. They're like, sorry, I'm not available. Only for the elites of things, right? And then there's people who would be able to, they're like, yes, we're definitely open to considering this. And they're not looking 100% at the influence side or they're looking at XYZ. They're looking at, okay, what are you about? Is that something that aligns with me? Absolutely. I see this as a really cool opportunity for us to be able to collaborate together and make something really cool, right? I really love whenever you're able to see that, and I'm very curious about, do we see these types of things happen with SB19 in the future? Because we do. I mean, I have noticed they do interviews with YouTubers. I noticed that with a couple people who have followed them over the years, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I find that very fascinating.
I'm also very good at predicting music, okay? Right? I'm like the MTV push of hosts. The same way that MTV knows how to pick winners, I know how to pick winners.
Wow. He's got a good skill set. I talked about it in the last episode.
I said it on my IG Live. I've said it to you in private, Caitlin. I've said it to Banjo. He didn't say anything back. SB19 are going to be big stars. They have charismatic. They're hardworking. Today's date is September 18th, 2020, when I'm saying this, okay? I want somebody to post this on September 18th, 2021, and you can see how right I am because of how much larger and more well-known SB19 will be a year from this date right here.
I want to also touch on this. The fact, like, when you have somebody that's in a position of influence, regardless of how much of a following or, that kind of thing that they have in real life. Like, if somebody has an influence to you, when they tell you you're going to be successful, or if somebody who maybe doesn't know you in the same way as somebody more intimate does, and they look at you and they're like, no, you're going to be successful. Because I've been on the receiving end on that for when I've done battle judge training. One of my teachers, he has said that I'm going to be very successful in this field. Not necessarily in YouTube, not what I'm talking about, but I've received a lot of positive feedback from people in my life that they're very appreciative that I do this. And I have been told something along those lines within certain areas of my life. And can I tell you, that is such a motivator. That is such a, I don't know, it just gives you wings, right? It's just such an encouraging thing. And the point is, it doesn't matter if they're right or not. But man, what that does to your brain? I haven't studied what really happens when you receive something like that in your brain like I have in other areas. But man, that will really adjust your headspace, and it'll reprioritize, or it'll get you a certain degree of perseverance and grit that's going to help you honestly with that. But I will also say too, what is your definition of success? Is it a particular accolade? Is it a certain amount of followers? Is it a certain financial goal that you have? I personally come from the position, I'm trying to not make success based on monetary value, but more so on the work-life balance that I have, the conversations that I get to have, and the growth that we all get to experience together. Like, how much of a better human do I get to be with, being a steward of the gifts that God's given me in a way where I get to meet so many of you and get to grow, right? That's the success for me. I'm already successful in my own right in so many different avenues. And I just want to continue to do this for as long as I'm called to do it, right? So anyway, this is cool.
And when 2021 started, he reminded people about what's to come.
4 years into my career, I've seen some people come and go, and I've seen some journeys, and you can spot things, right? You can notice trends.
He's got a good skill.
SB19 right now, and the lock that 18 has on the voting, week in, week out, and seeing them rise up the social 50 chart over.
He knows how fan bases are.
It's very similar to what was going on with BTS 2017, 2018.
Boom.
Now, I hope SB19 can reach those heights. I'm rooting for them. These guys are awesome guys and hard-working guys. I interviewed them after, incredibly 10-hour-plus work days of rehearsal and choreography practice, and they still put a smile on their face, and they're incredibly hard-working. I think that's really and aside from music being good, it's the work ethic that's going to take them to the top. So my prediction is they're going to break out in a huge way this year. So take that for what it's worth, 18.
Hey, no, he's not wrong. So that's something, because that was something that BTS got on the map in America because of the social media influence and presence, and I've touched on that on their marathon. There's so much to be impressed about that whole situation, right? And it's not easy to do at all. So I think that's really cool that Ethan has that kind of perseverance alongside SB19 for that reason. That's super sweet. What happened?
Kevin's prediction came true.
18 SB19. Congratulations.
This song was on the next level. It showcased Pablo's songwriting skills, Ken's dance moves and unique sound, STELL's heavenly voice and choreography, the most iconic rap verse in all of PPOP by Josh, and Justin's brilliant mind, which created a spectacle no one has ever seen in the country. It became the fastest PPOP music video to reach 1 million views in just 16 hours.
Look at that.
SB19 sent shockwaves that reminded people of what they are capable of.
Meron akong matakaw na ko ang ilang music video nga what? Na-encourage ko.
The world got inspired, so it responded with a giant wave of appreciation.
Oh.
Gusto ko ipagmalak yung SB19. SB19. Yung last video nila, yung what? Uy, maganda yun. Ang ganda ng video, di ba?
Magaling, grabe. I think, doon mo rin naman makikita na hindi mo pwedeng pulaan ng isang tao na nag-prepare.
You know who's a good example of that? Who you can't doubt people who prepare. Marley Hightower. A fantastic example. She was on World of Street Women Fighter, the leader of Team Motive. She runs a studio in Orlando from the U.S. You get to see the amount of preparation that she has as an artist, as a director, as a choreographer, as a dancer, to be able to flex the way that she was able to under the types of production tension and strain that not just her but every single team that was on that show experienced was so profound. And I am so glad she got her flowers for that, and I will continue to be an advocate for her success. So I 1,000% agree. You can't doubt people who prepare and prepare and prepare, and a lot of times you don't realize how much preparation they had until you see how much they prepared, and you're like, yo, right?
Hanggang sa makakita siya ng opportunity.
Right! No, absolutely.
Kay Manny Pacquiao eh.
Ah.
Nag-train, sobrang galing. Pagpasok niya ng ring, knockout yung kalaban. Walang difference.
I love that.
Lalo ko na-appreciate ang isang artist na alam kong pwedeng magyabang pero hindi nagyayabang.
Look at that, right? I would say the closest thing that I can empathize with to a statement like that is my preparation. Like, I'm very thankful that I started YouTube when I did for a reason very similar to that. I had not done enough preparation mentally, emotionally, spiritually, anything along those lines, knowledge-wise, humility-wise, knowing where to look, where to research, where to be a listening ear to, where to double down on in the early 2020s, where most people would normally navigate in this kind of space, right? I joined in 2023 because that was when I was, what was it? I was called to by the community in my life. I was prayerfully considering it. And so the ability for me to be able to be in this position the way that I am now is because of the lack of going for it in earlier years. So I'm very thankful for that. And now I get to have more confidence in my choices and be more thick-skinned to things, where things don't hurt my feelings as quickly as they would have 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? So I know 2023 was technically 2 years ago. So, but my point though, I was still, sometimes there's things that you just get hit bluntly, and on the YouTube side it happens. But my point is, I can resonate to a certain degree on there is beauty in preparation. Now, can I say that I've prepared and I don't know that. I only know how I live with myself and how I choose to best be a steward in the positions that I'm in. So maybe that comes across that way to people, but I know to me, it's just, that's my normal, right? So there's a chance that it's not that, and I just am going to continue to grow in this area, but I love being able to appreciate people where you can very clearly see that. I think it's awesome.
This was also the time when I found them. Their music made a difference in my life. It gave people happiness. Their music inspired us to become a better version of ourselves despite our imperfections. SB19 taught us not to only raise our own flag, but to wave it proudly.
I mean, the fact that you're taking the time to make these videos shows the amount of emotional
I almost forgot. I'm sorry, Pinuno,
investment.
But you gotta hang in there till the next episode, okay?
That was cute. Oh, I love how you added everybody there. I want our money because of copyright. So real. Yeah, which it does give the impression there were likes, shares, and subscriptions made as a result of this. This was really nice. What I'm probably gonna do is let's just watch them all, right? Nice. Episode 4 time. We're looking at one that is called Monsters, and it says haters will enjoy.
Previously on SB19 story.
SB19 are gonna be big stars. They have charismatic.
They got it. They have it.
They're going to break out in a huge way this year. So take that for what it's worth, 18.
The guy who predicted their success was the same guy who indirectly called them cheaters. This tweet didn't drop any names, But this was posted around the time when SB19 got the #1 spot on MTV's Most Requested Artists
same
for
guy.
21 weeks in a row, and this was against much bigger artists. So it was clear which fandom he was talking about. This was only one of the many obstacles they had to overcome.
Hold on, I
because-
need to go back and look at that. Guys, if you're using bots to vote, stop. They're cracking down and disqualifying those requests. I'm not kidding about using bots. You're going to get disqualified. Ah, February, March. Huh, okay.
These
So they're
most
talking...
requested artists for 21 weeks in a row, and this was against much bigger artists. So it was clear which fandom he was talking about. This was only one of the many obstacles they had to overcome.
Oh,
because
no.
after all these years, they turned out to be monsters.
Arr.
It might not look like it, but SB19 are people too. They have social
They
media
are.
and they see everything.
They look like
so it only makes
dads.
sense.
Hold on. SB19, they're ugly. They look like dads. I don't think I've ever gotten that, ever. Well, firstly, I don't think they're ugly. And secondly, I do find that funny because I don't see dads equal to ugly. But I know some people may. It's a very strange thing to put on the internet.
That some of these hate has gotten into them.
Bless it all.
I'm never enough.
Mm.
Kumbaga, parang feeling ko unfit.
Uh-oh.
Dumating na ako doon kasi minsan hindi lang naman yung mga tao sa paligid ko yung
Right.
kalaban ko.
Is it yourself?
Sarili ko pa din.
Yeah.
Siguro masabi ko hanggang ngayon.
Yep.
Nandun pa din siya.
Yep.
Parang siya napatalo.
Eh. Dang, Chuck, you picked some great footage.
Hindi ko pa enough. Kung pakaya. Ibigay ko na kasi. Ilang beses nangyari sa akin. Bakit sila kaya din natin ako?
I mean...
That one got me. Uh-oh. I'm getting teary-eyed. Okay. Here's why what Josh said got me. Because what he's talking about, we're going to let him say it again.
Ano sinasabi lagi? Hindi ko pa enough.
A lot of people, I mean, not recently, which I'm very thankful for, but I've had mentors in my life say that directly, especially at a very impressionable age, to where I still think about it, where I had to go to counseling over it and like really have to think through it. And I still have to navigate that right there, thinking that you're never enough. What I'm doing is not enough. I'm going to fail, or I am failing. I'm a failure. Not in the confines of analytics. No, but as I'm directing people in the wrong direction. I'm teaching the wrong things. I'm not helping in the right way. And I'm not gonna be as helpful as I want to be. For sure. Yeah, you can't do it. Others have better chances. Yeah. It happened to me many times. It was when he said, if they can do it, why can't I? Woo-hoo-hoo! That's something that I really had to navigate through doing YouTube, because a lot of times in the industry, you're subconsciously taught that you have to not ride the coattails of somebody more successful, but establishing connections of people who are more successful within these parts of the industry you want to be in order for you yourself to have a way to be successful too. It's very subconsciously trained in the convention circuits, in the studio world especially. And if we wanted a separate video on that, we could touch on that. So for a long time in my adult life especially, because that's what I was taught, I didn't look at people as connections, not really that. It was certain companies or certain agencies I felt a draw or a push to want to audition for and be a part of in order to feel like, okay, now I have value. Isn't that such a really sad thing to say? Now that I really am saying it, like, that's so sad. And there's so many people that think that way. I teach dancers who are subconsciously navigated in that direction, not by me, but I'm not their only teacher. I only teach one style out of like 5 they learn from, right? So they only get, if they have 4 out of 5 teachers tell them one thing, and then they have me saying something different, where I touch on something a little bit different, what's going to hold more true? And that's a separate topic entirely, but that statement that he just said, if they can do it, why can't I? Absolutely. Why can't I make my own name for myself? Why can't I stand on my own 2 feet and just speak as me? Why do I have to have an organization backing me? You know what I mean? And that's why I have peace with intentionally not renewing my Hip Hop International certification. I used to be very certification prioritized, because in my head, in order to cope with, I don't want to be a failure, or I want to feel heard and valued and seen, therefore I have to have certifications that are of value in people's eyes. That's why for a long time I had so many credentials, but now I don't focus on them as much anymore. I think about just learning from people, being a listening ear to people, and learning from you guys, diving into stuff like this, and being able to self-reflect, because I've learned from experience, it is not going to satisfy you, and it is not going to change what people think about you as much as you think it will. If somebody's not going to like what you do because of the color of your skin, they're not going to like you because of the color of your skin, and you cannot change that. All you can change is how you choose to approach it. So that almost got me, because I have lived that statement so many times. The amount of conversations I've had with my best friend about that statement right there is too many to count. And I still have to tell myself that. Wow. Gosh.
I mean, why can't people just embody this mantra? And that brings us back to this moment. Yeah, that's Pablo. If you're new here, you're probably wondering how he ended up there.
Every day on your own, and here it goes. I'm just a kid.
Just kidding. I will tell the next chapter this time, okay?
Okay.
This was the time when Pablo decided not to be silent anymore. SB19 dropped the Pagsibol EP, and one of the songs takes a shot against those haters. The lyric video itself screams a lot of shutting them down. The conceptualization is on a different level. Just take a look at this guy. This character literally resembled all 5 members, and the person behind it and all other mind-blowing concepts is Justin. He didn't just come up with these creative concepts, he built them from scratch and oftentimes even used frame-by-frame animation. He's a guy who knew what he wants.
That's right, because he went to school for it.
And a beautiful face. And we all knew about the song that produced the most iconic rap line in P-pop.
No, I didn't know that.
Josh gave it so much justice
that was a vibe,
though. Forget about his other talents in handling interviews.
So what do you think is the difference between Filipino boy groups and you guys?
But we couldn't say that we are really better than them because we respect them.
Finance, music, gaming, and the world of dance. The dude is a legend in the K-pop dance cover industry, along with STELL in Saigon. Even before SB19, Josh was already a monster.
Guys, I'm gonna need you to send me some of those receipts of those K-pop covers. Your girl, I see a lot of BTS covers, which is proving my hypothesis. Yes, I knew that they had covered BTS, but based on movement quality and choreographic influence, I could see the amount of it in their self-choreographed journey. That's what happens. It's exactly what happened with BTS, where you saw a heavy GRV influence, and then they end up having the team as a part of the choreographic process, right? So it's not an inherently, wrong thing. It's just something that happens. There's a ton of inspiration from so much K-pop work, and whenever we get to certain groups, you'll know that. But yeah, like that's really interesting that I had no idea they were a part of like a cover group. So much so, like that checks so many boxes off on the type of movement, quality, influence that they had on their own work. I get it, but I need videos.
My favorite part was the imitation of the monster's laugh. This was done by none other than the monster vocalist himself, STELL. He's just one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life because of his versatility. I mean, only a monster gets called out by a friend to do a freestyle vocal run and ends up making an epic song intro.
You won't believe it.
Oh, that's the intro for Ken's track, right?
Hey.
People also tend to forget his ability to sing in lower notes.
It's because you have Ken for that, right?
Speaking of forgotten talents, who would dare forget his ability to dance and teach it at the same time? The man single-handedly choreographed almost all of SB19's amazing dance routines. If that isn't a monster to you, then I don't know what is. Enter the oldest song on the list.
I know, I saw that. They, was it a lyric video?
This is the song that saved us from virtually everything in the midst of the pandemic. It saved us from boredom, sorrow, anxiety, burnout, homesickness, depression, you name it. My favorite part of the song is the first verse done by Ken. It makes you feel like you want to cry, but you're happy. You know what I mean? He's just effortless in setting up the mood.
It's because it's comforting. A lot of times it goes off of the key that you're in. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Like it satisfies, right? So there is, I know that there is science behind music, right? It's called music cognition, and how music can tie into the psychology of why it moves you the way that it does. So, and also hearing Ken in a higher register like that too can also be something interesting and fun little tidbit. Sometimes when you hear men sing in falsetto, it feels like it's insinuating a type of intimacy as well, which could pertain to some of the vocal notes that we do tend to hear throughout their discography too. It's cool.
But when it comes to his talents, he's in no mood to be joking.
Ha ha ha!
This guy has a voice that sounds like he came straight from the underworld. The dude can literally do everything from singing, rapping, dancing, writing, producing, entrepreneurship, drawing, shooting balls, playing, to flying. Sheesh.
Parkour.
That's a monster right there. Now let's move on to the song that was written out of a laundry routine.
Remember the time now when we are doing our laundry? Nagluluto tayo, tapos sabi ni Pablo, ano gusto niya sabihin sa parents niyo?
Is it time?
Doon nagsimula tayo.
You heard it right, it's Mappa.
Oh. Okay, it's Mappa. It would have been wild if it was time, right?
Of many people all over the world, including
Aww.
mine. This easily became their best song ever because it's very relatable. It pays tribute to our loving parents and gives thanks to them for all the
was that the ice cream one?
sacrifices they've made for us. The impact was so immense that it was sung in many different languages.
Mama, it's been a while, I miss you. What you've been doing, can I call you? I hope you miss me too.
Oh, I can see the relatability. You pick good covers. You sound great. And also the amount of covers you probably had to listen to in order to pick some. Wow. Wow. I love it. I like that they're all in their respective languages too. Ooh, that's a pretty dress. With the accent of yellow and red.
The melody takes me back to this unforgettable moment.
Oh. What's this?
Everyone's family showed up except for Cam. Then this happened.
Oh, everyone's family came. Oh. Oh.
This moment was so precious because Ken never expected his family to show up.
Oh, he broke down. Whoa.
This made Mappa even more special because it was performed by SB19 together with their family.
With their family. Oh my god! Oh, all the feelings. Oh, his necklace is gorgeous. Gosh, that's being professional. The fact that you're able to sing, being an emotional wreck like this. No, I could not do it. No. Oh my god. Stop with the vibrato.
The universal anthem is the mind of a genius himself. The monster in the center of it all.
Like that.
Pablo. If you have noticed, his name is all over every SB19 song you know. Some people say he's got the Midas touch because every song he made was an instant hit. I mean, just listen to how clever the lyrics are in SLMT. He managed to thank us by using our fandom's language without making it sound cringe. And he's not even done. He has so many unreleased bangers that are just waiting to be unleashed. As a group, SB19 earned the infamous nickname, Live Monsters. It's because they move and sound even better with live.
They do.
This is one of the main reasons why they have a fast-growing and dedicated fan base. They garnered a lot of support that they managed to reach the global music scene.
This category is fan-voted because music is all about the fans.
That's
now,
right.
Let's get into it. This year's 2021 finalists are the girls from Blackpink, the boys from BTS, Blackpink, of course. We have Queen Ariana Grande. Yeah. We have the boys just like me representing SB19. Let's do this. And the ever so incomparable 17. Congrats to all of the amazing finalists. You can vote for your favorite beginning May 10th. Now let's go back to the
Josh couldn't believe it. He couldn't hold his tears because finally he took a step on their quest for world domination.
I want to dedicate this stream to our friends SB19. So again, congratulations.
Oh, do you see her setup? It is gorgeous. I mean, I love mine, don't get me wrong. Oh, I love it. It's like a little feathery, furry bat.
In the Billboard Music Awards Top Social Artist Song.
Wow.
Proud.
But despite all the accolades, we can't deny that some people, even P-pop fans, still doubt them.
Oh, yeah.
So let me show you something to shut them up.
Oh.
This is...
I'm ready. Most viewed P-pop boy group music in 24 hours. First, I'm not BGO Vixen.
the chart of the most viewed P-pop boy group MVs in the first 24 hours. I intentionally didn't put SB19 there because if I did, this happens. Their song...
Yeah. 1.4... La Bazinga, SMLT.
easily occupy the upper half percentile by a large margin. This begs the question, are they just too far ahead of the game? Or are they just...
Celebrate. So are they incentivizing that like K-pop's gay? Why? Surpass the launching of SB19. Oh, is this like... This is another group? Kalista? I hope.
Maganda kasi yung revenge kasi talaga yung success na ipapakita mo sa mga pinangin yung sa
Tama yan.
Now, there is something that a lot of people don't realize is that the more success, the more problems. Because a fantastic example is look at BTS. Because they are so successful and the amount of hate has grown so much more. Because the more eyes that are on you, you're going to have more people that don't understand where you came from. You're going to have more people that really don't care where you came from. They don't like change. A lot of times people don't like change. And so they're going to criticize what they don't know for a sense of safety a lot of times, right? They want to protect what is known, what is comfortable. So when people break a boundary or break a barrier that a lot of times people don't realize is there, you're going to run into a lot of those types of obstacles, which is what we see here. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be as big as BTS. My real question is, does BTS want to be as big as they are? I wonder if anybody's really asked them that question, because people would just assume the answer is yes. They've lived in this lifestyle to where they're conditioned to, respond to people the way that they have, make sure they're recording always in an interview so nothing gets manipulated, things like that. But I've always found that a very curious thing where do we ask people who are astronomically successful at what they do they genuinely like being in that position? Because we all just assume that they do, right? So I would pose that question to SB19 because they're significantly more successful compared to when this video was released, right? That question would remain. I mean, I feel like they're not as isolated as a group as what I noticed with a lot of groups. They're like, here's my group, and whatever the rise and the fall is very specific to the group. Here's a communal effort where you have, of course, a lot of in-house participation, but you have a lot of communal interaction, like the use of W3 and J. I think that's a really big component that I'm intrigued on when it gets introduced here, because I do think it matters. But that's a very big thing that I think a lot of people play the comparison game of, oh, you're going to be bigger than so-and-so. My question is, I don't know if you want to. What comes with that, right? You're never going to get rid of hate. You're just going to get more of it. Do you know how to regulate that? That's the question. That was cute. I like watching the credits of these. It's kind of fun. Well, guess what? I'm already subscribed. Episode 5 time. Disclaimer, the following video falls under fair use policy. Let me use it is basically what this is. Cool. Here for it.
If I told you the Gento era started way before 2023, would you believe me?
Sure.
This video was taken more than
I
a year
believe
ago
most.
in SB19's legendary comeback in the Wish Bus. You will realize it when you see it. In a world where choices and chances collide, a concept emerges. It's captivating and mysterious.
Oh, it's a similar font and color palette.
This is a journey that transcends the boundaries of ordinary existence, challenging our perceptions and igniting our curiosity. Prepare to question, marvel, and discover the forces that shape their lives. Were they just mere pawns in the grand scheme of things? Or did they, against all odds, become masters of their own destinies? Back in SB19's training days, they loved listening to OPM songs during their breaks and stretching sessions. Most of them are songs for Ben and Ben. They really looked up to them because of their music.
They end up collaborating
They were
with them.
just humble fans
I've
of
seen
an
that.
already established Filipino band. And in 2019, when they were still trying to make a name for themselves, something quite unexpected happened.
Ben and Ben! That's low-key how I felt whenever I did an interview with Gravity Jacobs. So, such a vibe.
If you haven't noticed, they really tried their best to appear calm and professional as they met their idols. But after they parted ways and entered their vehicle, SB19 pretty much lost it and became fanboys themselves, which was quite a wholesome sight.
Like, what a coincidence! Yes! Ben 19! SB19! That's funny. Oh! Well, isn't that
Man, who
adorable?
would have thought that wishful thinking would actually turn into reality?
Right!
Crazy stuff for sure. But not as crazy as this one. In 2021, SB19 were asked about their plans after the Pagsibol EP. And this was their answer.
Gusto po namin magkaroon ng, parang katulad po sa ibang bansa na magkaroon talaga ng music show na talagang solely yung mga grupo rin nagsasama-sama. Pinopromote yung mga girl band. Kasi doon makikita, mapapanood din ng mga ibang audiences from all over the world yung talent ng Philippines. So, hopefully next year, makasalipanan.
Parang, in short, Philippines pop
A PPOP convention.
This interview wasn't released to the public until the next year because I think the media didn't believe them. Maybe they thought it was impossible to unite all artists in the P-pop scene because it is known to be very competitive. Even fandoms go to war from time to time, and the sheer scale of logistics alone to get everyone on board could make most organizers quit their job. But hey, despite the uncertainty, they managed to pull it off.
Wow. That's awesome!
How did they?
I think that's awesome. That makes me like, I hope they still have this. Do they? I mean, I feel like I need a Google search. Hold. Okay, Wikipedia said they stopped in 2023, but then I saw an Instagram account for 2024. So I hope they still have it, if anything. That's so fun. But I know, once again, logistical nightmare, and it's a different culture where it's not normally expected, right? Compared to K-pop, where like K-Con is like a huge thing, depending on the country that you're in, so.
They do it. Well, maybe SB19 were just so determined to prove that P-pop is not a competition. It's a community. That historic event happened in Araneta Coliseum, a stage that, back in the day, SB19 could only dream of. At the time, they could only joke about it. But they had no idea that it would actually become their home stage.
What's up, Araneta? That's adorable. Oh, fun. And it's some live vocals too.
At this point, you probably recognize a pattern already. When SB19 makes a prediction, they likely come true. Which is pretty crazy, to be honest. But what's beyond crazy is when it reaches the level of insanity. You see, when they were asked to wear a blindfold on the Halloween of 2019, Pablo said this.
Parang napanood ko na to sa TV. Feeling ko alam kung saan tayo pupunta sa Pinoy Big Brother. Oo nga, ganito yun eh. Lilipat na tayo sa bahay ni Kuya.
I like those masks.
Sa bahay
rin sa aking bahay, SB19.
So they were actually blindfolded for more than 2 years? Anyway, when SB19 entered the Pinoy Big Brother house, they easily became one of the most entertaining guests the show has ever had.
That's so
gave birth
cool.
to some very interesting interactions.
Is that them? No, that's them. Hold him back, hold him back. Yeah! That's kind of awkward if you think about it. Where it's the people in the Big Brother house and they're just performing for them. It's so funny. Such a vibe. Oh my god, I love it. Love it. Cute. They're like, yeah. SB19. That was cute.
Dito nakapunta na po kayo sa Egypt. Actually, no. Not yet. Ako nakapunta na ako Egypt. Electronic jet na.
Why? It's so well in the Big Brother house. Oh, he's okay. It's given the impression, because I've been noticing this from the there's been some material that I've just come across my feed. STELL has a reactionary banter humor, meaning that he feeds off of established information in a space. I'm very similar to this, which is why it's hard for me to do like a knock-knock joke. I'll laugh at them, but I'm really bad at setting up knock-knock jokes or punchline-based jokes. I'm good at listening to an information, filing it away, and then when somebody says something and I'm like, oh, this goes right in and it fits perfectly. Now, I don't know if that recognizes over here in the YouTube side. I feel like when I make myself laugh sometimes, it can kind of resonate, but I also don't know. So I would love to know, do I have that type of humor or do I have a different kind of sub-humor? Because I really like how STELL operates on the humor side because it reminds me a lot of how I would operate in a space, but I could be so wrong.
Hindi naman talaga bakasyon, pero semi-break.
And I was crying on the staircase, begging you please don't
go. Swift and I said,
wala ka man ngayon sa aking piling, nasasaktan man ang
yeah, tell them. So they got to exist in the house with everybody else. Oh, wow. Wow. Tell him. Tell him. Brilliant. And then he awakens from his slumber. The laugh.
Yeah, typical SB19 antics right there.
I cured him. I cured him.
Then I have something more insane
That was
coming
funny.
up.
This is insane, Max. Yeah, quiet, sorry.
When Josh celebrated his birthday back in 2020, SB19 members surprised him with a mysterious guest. And this mysterious guest apparently can read minds. He told Josh to ask him anything
He's
about
a
his future,
mentalist.
and this was his question.
Ano gusto mong malaman about your future sa isip lang?
Will I be a professional esports player?
Here's the answer. I hope you have the time to be an esports player in the future when SB19 goes international. No, let me just emphasize yung sagot ko. I hope you have the time to be an esports player, a professional esports player for that matter. You're gonna be a semi-professional esports player, right? But I hope you find the time when SB19 goes international. Oh, di ka lang nakita.
Look at that. Said I don't care about it. We're going international. That sounds like we're going to Disney. Wow.
I'm a pro esports player, but SB19
fun.
also went international by entering the Billboard charts and having success with the first ever world tour while proudly representing their country.
You make the
Well,
Philippines
sorry,
proud.
Carlos.
You
We
make
hit him
all
in the
of us
face.
proud. So,
Thank you so much.
congratulations.
If we turn back time and ask random people, most of them might not even believe it would happen.
I don't believe in superstitions.
And this created one of the most memorable moments, especially for their international fans. When SB19 were just about to wrap up the concert in San Francisco, this suddenly happened.
Oh, look at that. It was a nice little fan project. Very fast editing. Oh, that's sweet. Cute. That's sweet. That's so cool. You gotta read fast too. Oh, that's sweet.
Thank you so much, SB19, and see you soon. Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
Oh, cute. Is that New York?
I want to congratulate SB19 for finishing their first US tour.
Woo! Yay for them. Guys, it's expensive to tour in the US. Well done to them.
And keep in mind that we love you. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much, SB19. See you next time. See you, Canada.
We hope you enjoyed your stay here in the US during your voyage and have plenty of memories with your friends. Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
That's adorable.
See you next time. Hi, SB19. Congratulations on your tour. See you next year. Thank you, SB19. See you next time. Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
Oh, that's sweet. Aww. We got somebody singing on their own tune. Bless them. This song kind of sounds like an Aladdin ballad, right? Or a song from like the Renaissance golden age of Disney movies. Aladdin, Hercules, one of those. Oh, so it is a part of that era. Not from that. Wanna love you. Oh, this is the Cheyenne Twain song. How they have it, it's like a reprise. Oh. You're the one I love. I was like, why does the song sound familiar, but not really? Cool. That's sweet. Oh. So that was amazing. Oh.
We couldn't really thank you enough
Wow.
We are so blessed to have you guys, you know, and to have this platform where we can enjoy and do what we love, and at the same time inspire and motivate people. Talagang we have the responsibility, and we will do our best to inspire people and motivate people, and together we will attain our goals together.
Love it.
I'm just really blessed and happy that we have you guys. We're so thankful from the beginning up until now. You have been, you know, unconditionally supporting us, and we know that this is just the start. I love you too. I love you. Awesome. Words can't express what I feel right now, but I'm really, really overwhelmed, and my heart is so full. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Change our lives. Alam niyo, before it was just our dream, actually, to come here. To do it for the Philippines, for you guys. For always there. Thank you, love. Couldn't thank you enough. You guys made us stronger. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Zoom
lie,
in.
I was a tiny bit emotional. Because, you know, SB19 started
Next to that
from nothing.
Jollibee.
They were once very young, but they dared themselves to dream. You may call it fate, prediction, or manifestation. But besides that, they also put in the work by practicing more than everybody, improving more than everybody, and sacrificing more than everybody. So this time, I'll let you decide the conclusion of this video. Is SB19 really predetermined? Or do they possess the power to shape their own destiny?
All the makeup. You guys, I'm not a big fan.
Something about it felt a little inauthentic to me. I just felt like they were trying really, really hard.
Yo, you heard those boys saying the first thing you're gonna go is hit their jacket?
So anong feeling pag binabalikan yung mga times na yun na ang daming people na nagda-doubt?
Huli kayo ngayon.
Wow. Look at a casual Chuck getting a sponsorship out of this. That was cool. Okay. It's interesting, like here, you know.
Sacrificing more than everybody. Or do they possess the power to shape their own destiny?
I think with power to shape your own destiny, I think part of that comes from as long as you're not doing it alone, really anything's possible if you think about it. I mean, that the whole point is not, we're not doing things in isolation. We're doing it in collaboration, right? With our fans, with each other. We're not making it, like, we're not dumping the responsibility solely on one person, because that's not going to be sustainable in any way, shape, or form, and we're seeing that, right? So it's, I mean, I think, you know, you're going to have, you know, these are reactors, right? I was a reactor myself. But, I mean, that's particularly the field I'm in. He's like, oh, the makeup. I'm not a big fan. So, like, whenever people make statements like that or talking about the jacket and we're not really talking about the product, we're just looking at like the vanity side of things, that to me is a lack of cultural awareness in a lot of ways, in the sense of like, even though in the P-pop scene, I don't know how makeup is resonating, or like people who don't understand the music side, people who don't understand being on a stage, you gotta have makeup on or you get washed out. So I've never really understood as much people who get turned off by watching guys have makeup on, especially if it's makeup that the functionality of it is to not look freaking a ghost, like a ghost that you don't control, if that makes sense. Like, it's, you wear makeup to even it out and to get a certain impression across for the sake of the point of what you're doing, because lights are brutal, right? So it's like, even on that front, from a theater standpoint, it shows that we don't understand Broadway. Have you ever watched a Broadway show with a man not wearing makeup? I certainly haven't. So I just find that very interesting. It's just a lack of awareness on the industry as a whole. Like, is SB19 the only P-pop group that wears makeup on the guy side? Like, it just makes me ask those questions thinking about the P-pop interviewer people. Anyway, felt a little inauthentic to me. Now, what I find interesting about that is part of me would believe that's why I enjoy doing marathons, is because I have the privilege of getting to see things in chronological order as much as I can, to be able to understand if it does look like we're giving the impression that we're trying really hard, or are we playing the game, or what is our direction. I come from the position that most of the time there are areas where you're like, okay, this concept doesn't suit them. Yes or no, why? It's all about justification, or, you know, justifying your own perspective, because she has a right to feel that way. She doesn't know them, right? Just as I don't know them either. I couldn't tell you if they're being authentic or inauthentic in their presentation, because I don't know them. All I know is going off of the information, using context clues and educated guesses to kind of better understand as a whole what we're looking at. That's my job, right? And most reactors don't do that. So I want you to keep that in mind. Reacting's like one of it, part of it, and then sharing your opinion is another. I really try to give a benefit of the doubt for most things, or to try to provide multiple perspectives on something, on how it can come across, and not really put too much of my emotions within it, especially if it's coming from a place of, you know, it doesn't matter sometimes if I like it or not, especially if it's competition footage. Doesn't match criteria. Like, I try to fit the scope of what I'm watching, and I always try to find something that is beneficial, or what can I learn and grow from watching what I watch. A lot of people don't view it that way, and they're allowed to feel how they want to feel, right? So I digress. She says, the jackets. I like the jackets. She said, yo, you heard those boys singing. Hit those jackets. The times when people doubted you. If you look back at the times. At first, it can sound very daunting, but then once you get past it, you're who you to me now. I love that, because I just got back from a G-Dragon concert, and he goes, and the song's called what? Who you? Baby, love you. That's a spicy thing to say, right? Oh, such a vibe. Episode 6 time. This one is called Kings.
This is just an ordinary photo again taken back in 2022.
Documentary.
But when this music starts playing,
here's a
it
tattoo.
becomes something out of the ordinary.
Gising sa umaga, siya agad ang gusto na makita. Di ako marunong kumanta, pero para sa kanya harara, harara. Teka lang, bakit ba parang nasa tono tong aking gitara? Gusto ko lang naman sabihin.
Yo, this is cool. He's probably the guy who made the song Golden Hour. That was nice.
For many years, kings have looked into the heavens for guidance. Their ambitions and fates intertwined with the rhythm of the cosmos.
Doctor
As they
Strange.
uncover its different forms, the universe whispers secrets known only to those who dare to dream. And when they do dream, stars begin to align for them. Destiny bows to their command, and their kingdoms start to thrive. Prepare to get used to seeing more moments like this in this video. Because
little Easter eggs.
Now in the presence of a king.
Back in 2019, 3 days before SB19's Go Up went viral, a group of students were just looking for a random person to interview for the school project when they found this good-looking bystander. They thought he was a foreigner at first, but then...
That's cute. He said, good grief. It's just a school project, so it's okay to answer incorrectly. Respect.
Yeah,
Sino po ang pambansang bayahan po natin? Nakakalaga naman po. Okay. Pangalawa po, ano po ang pambansang hayop po natin?
I like that the music is very, you know, like we're answering questions. Not really.
Ano po ang pambansang ibon po natin? Oh, Philippine
Ka! What's the prize?
Pangalan niyo lang po, kuya. Number at email po.
His name's Justin. Thank you, bro. Love it.
Pasimple ka. Okay. Nagiging bakla ka na.
This video didn't only prove the power of Justin's visuals, but also showcased his humility. But the most interesting thing is that this video alone has got to be the most subtle foreshadowing of what's to come. From being admired by just a small group of students to being admired by the whole country 3 days later, then the whole world a few years after.
Is that a
Just
cat
imagine
on the
the
back of
reaction
his
this
shirt?
guy when he finds out Justin's real identity.
Kablooey.
Another foreshadowing happened back in 2022 when they got invited to perform at the Binibining Pilipinas beauty pageant. Pablo's ponytail was amazing here, by the way.
Come on now. The volume on it. Oh.
So backstage, SB19 were just doing typical SB19 antics.
What's next contestant? You know all Filipinas. Number 16, Sylvester Rajero.
France! Sorry.
I would say I'm standing here very strong as the man standing here in the center of me.
Yeah.
And together we are high five.
They had no idea that next
Sorry,
year...
I don't know if France, if you guys know what that is, it's a Miss Universe reference. And I think about that anytime I think of a pageant. I just think of that time and how it just makes me laugh and how beautiful it was. So that's beautiful. Thank you, STELL. Keep going. We're listening.
This would actually come true.
Oh.
Our judge will be
the most charismatic member of multi-awarded and Billboard nominee PPOP Phenom, SB19, Mr. Josh Cullen.
Mr. Twilight himself.
It's
Look
just
at
so
that.
amazing how stars seem to align for them. What's even more amazing is what happened back in 2021 in the Zoom interview. Because what initially was just another playful joke turned into reality 2 years later.
Sample.
Kahit wala ka na, bukas ay maghihintay sa gitna ng pag-iisa. Ayun lang po.
Hindi ko alam yan.
Oo nga. Oh, nag-earn ng chair si STELL. Yun, Coach STELL. Si Coach STELL ka na.
Oh, mga pattern. Love it.
Ay, mga kapuso.
Ah! He was on The Voice!
Alam po sa lahat ng ibang SB19.
Oh, okay. We support Coach STELL. He said a little click with the foot. Woo!
So from STELL singing in an empty room to
going
performing in The
click.
Voice as one of the coaches.
Come on,
I
now.
mean, how do these things keep on happening to them? As they continued their quest, they released their Pagtatag trailer on April 2023. Everyone was blown away because the whole thing felt like a movie. The crazy thing about it is that most of the effects they used were practical.
Love it.
Including this big explosion.
Kablooey.
3, 2, 1. Whoa.
Golly. I bet that was terrifying.
It's literally explosion.
Correct.
Sheesh, that was dangerous for sure.
Yes, it
Months
was.
later, they dropped Gento. This song took over social media and became SB19's biggest song alongside Mapa because of its clever and meaningful lyrics and easy-to-dance choreography. A couple of weeks later, SB19 announced their departure from Show BT and dropped the full Pagtatag EP, which includes the catchy Gento sensual I Want You.
Lord, that's right. I forgot how sensual that was. Wish
The
Buzz.
heart-wrenching Ilaw. The heart-warming Liham. And the uplifting Freedom. The whole EP was so good that it immediately entered the music charts.
Huzzah!
Because of this, SB19 got invited to local
The
game
Family
shows.
Feud, baby!
Anong huli mong ginawa bago ka umalis ng bahay kanina? Nagbanyo. Anong ginawa mo sa banyo? Nagwiwi. Umihi. Survey. Wala. Tapos yung 100 kayo, mali kayo.
You're wrong. Oh, I love it. You guys don't pee before you leave?
And I can see your voice.
Ah! I didn't know they did this. I love that show from Korea. I can see your voice. Some of the best, like, catfish moments from that are insane. I loved that show. That is awesome that they were on it. Wait a minute.
Something. They were also invited here back in the Go Up era. Some fans were saying that one of the show's hosts, Jobert, was mocking Josh's hair.
Why is our hair black? Yours is white.
What do you guys think? Well, you decide. So going back, SB19 also performed in different noontime shows, except it's showtime because of this incident.
Anong sayo yan?
Geto.
Geto.
SB19.
SB19.
Let's go. Bawal araw.
Why?
Nanil na. Oo, bawal na daw. O, hindi, mamaya.
Hindi pa good promo yun for the music industry.
Pero, mamaya.
Sa labas.
This triggered fans.
Hold on. Let me see the heat. Hold on. What a waste. Later, outside. Y'all have no problem blasting off songs from international artists. Hagapima. Oh, man. That's supposed to promote them or also respect local artists.
Triggered fans, bashers.
Oh, someone said denying royalties under the guise of free promotion exposure might undermine the value of the artist's creation.
A musician.
I thought we all agreed using promo and shout out is not an acceptable form of compensation for artists. That's also true. Wow.
Is making this issue explode.
Remember there was a moment where they stopped playing Let It Go. This is when I wish I knew the Filipino language. If they were willing to do it for an international song, why not do it for OPM and SB19? That's true. There's not technically wrong.
Load. One side says it's the artist's right to collect royalty, while the other calls them greedy. Despite the issue, SB19 kept going. They were so unstoppable that even technical issues couldn't
Is
hold
this the
them
Billboard
back.
situation? Oh, so frustrating. Oh, man. Yeah, no need to do MR removed. It's there. Good on the dancers, too. Shows your thoroughness of practice. Yeah. Sometimes you're gonna get a certain type of motivation from being in a space like that. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Nice.
It was time for them to take over.
Whee!
They kicked off the Pagtatag tour locally and
Nice.
internationally.
Hey. Oh, we got a shirtless Josh.
The entire tour was a big success.
Yay!
So when SB19 came back home, they wanted to give back to their fans by organizing an event that was more intimate and full of interaction.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome. Play games on stage. Dinner?
They revealed their Freedom music video.
Absolutely. Gosh, you guys see that dinner? Do you get to pick the place? Part of me would love to go to a Jollibee, and then I would love for them to tell me what to order, because I don't know if I have decision paralysis per se, but I've taken a huge inspiration to being heavily influenced off of those who work at places. I've adopted this probably since 2024, which is not very recent. No, it's pretty recent. Where I would go somewhere, and if I'm just indecisive and I don't know what I want, I will literally just ask a local waiter, or I'll ask somebody who's an employee, and I'm like, yo, what do you realistically get here? And they tell me, and I typically eat it, and it's really good. Or I dress in it if it's like an outfit at a store. So that would be humbly what I would probably suggest. I would be like, you pick the restaurant, please don't make it too fancy, and let's go like eat like a go-to meal that I could conveniently have again. That's would be what I would do.
And while watching it, every member seemed to be having a flashback and started becoming emotional.
We love it.
Sobrang punong-puno po ng kasiyahan yung heart ko ngayon. Kasi hindi namin akalain na abot na ng 5 years. Tapos, yung 5th year.
5th year.
Parang ano eh. Pero pag nagtatrabaho ka kasi, parang lagi mong iisip yung
Oh, the single tier.
Masyadong focus sa work, nakakalimutan mo i-appreciate yung mga maliliit na bagay. And syempre yung mga bagay na...
Thank you, Chuck, for providing translation. I really appreciate it. So I can really understand.
Happy birthday. Marami mo aning mga tuiga nga abot. Inaot ko nga ang inuko.
Oh my God.
Matag pa nimo kung sugang mga tuigan sa iyong kinabuhi. Pero nasa iyong kung ang ginoo na proteksyon. Laro sa tanan. Hindi mo sa iyong mga kamuhan, sa mga fans, sa iyong mga staff. Sa grupo nimo sa SB19. Ang iyong birthday celebration. Kulang kung magtiwala sa iyong siliran. Gawas pa niya na
Wow. To recognize that as a parent.
Nalaga sa inyo ha. Nantong pagkatoon na mo sa inyong apuhan. Pero bisan pa niya na nasayog ka, nasayog ang ginoo.
Wow. Which I've genuinely learned so much about the Filipino work culture and the work scene of I've never quite encountered a particular culture that it's very common for people to leave the country to make a living for their families like that. Wow. I'm like processing. I cannot empathize with Ken whatsoever. I do not know. Would he have wanted this type of interaction or this type of thing to happen on camera? I don't know, right? Like sometimes there's like things like this that would be such an intimate thing that you just need to feel. Would I want to be in an interview or to be somewhere and that's the video that is shown to me and you're seeing my real reaction? Like it's so real and people can probably really want to like give him a hug and be protective in that space. I don't know. That's just a question that I would think about in that. But also I'm not Ken, and I'm very appreciative that he's able to experience something like this, and the fact that Ken's dad was what he recognized. Like he wasn't brushing things under a rug at all, being like, we did what we did for you and you should be grateful. No, he's like, we understand that we were not a part of what you needed. Like, or we're sorry that we were not there when you needed us, essentially. Like that's, man, that type of reflection, but also did what they need to do. God knows why we left to make a living. despite all of that. Like,
Tungod sa
wow.
break, tungod sa atong pagkawa.
Wow.
Ba't ka nag-break daw?
Hindi po, kasi po, yun nga po, parang ang tagal na rin na walang nangyayari sa amin. Dapat ang pag-usap namin ng parents ko talaga is mag-stop na ako sa training. Mag-work na po ako after graduation.
Hanggang ngayon, hindi mo pa rin nakikita yung tatay mo?
Opo, never po. Recently po parang may nagpakilala po sa akin na kapatid po ng father ko. Kaso daw po, wala na daw sa katinuang isip. So, nagpupo na lang po.
So his uncle, dad's sibling would be his uncle or aunt?
Hirap na pinagdaanan namin. Kaya pag nakakarinig kami ng talagang matatak talaga sa isipan namin. Tapos puro
kasi pumunta ako doon. Kumbaga, para ipakita ko ng skill ko. Pero, kahit anong try mo, hindi talaga pa rin yung napapansin ng mga tao.
Yep. Absolutely. That is a very real statement. There are going to be people that always pay attention to the thing, which would be visual. And I remember I've had conversations with some people on Patreon, which were very productive conversations about that topic, because I had made a constructive thought towards a mentor from one of the shows I was watching about caring so much about visuals, even though I understand how the K-pop industry works. Do I agree with it? The question really isn't that, right? But also, whenever you really think about the people at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of fans who really understand that. And then you're going to have fans who like people because of how they look, right? And that's a very unfortunate thing a lot of times, when the look is so focused on and not the personality or other caricatures of it. I come from the position that personality is what's going to either promote attraction from somebody, or it's going to make them not very attractive. But that's based on me. I know a lot of people are not like that. And, you know, some people, a lot of times, they become interested in somebody because they match a certain type of approachable style of visual that makes somebody want to, you know, learn more. Is there something wrong with that? If that's the only thing you look at for somebody, I would say that would be an area that we could grow in as humans. But if that's something that, it's not inherently wrong to visually like something, right? That should not be the isolated thing, especially when you're dealing with people, right? So it's hard. That's really hard. That's hard. I'm going to be like very honest. I'm going to be like so honest with you right now. That's been not really a struggle, but it's been something that's weighed on me for a long time. You know, little things like I have really dark circles under my eyes. And so sometimes I can always look like I'm tired no matter what. I've had people all the time say, "Just, you look tired." And a lot of times I equate that to I don't look as pretty because I look worn out. Like I do equate that sometimes. Or whenever my weight fluctuates, does it affect my dancing? Not that much. It's more so my condition, such as what I eat or how much sleep I get, how hydrated I am. But sleep's a really big factor, if I'm being honest, more so than food. And I'm always conscious about how I appear in front of a camera, because I operate in that headspace. If there's going to be some people that either like what I do because of my ability to do the thing, or they're going to like it because of how I look doing it, like my actual visual. And there's going to be people who don't like it because I'm a certain weight or I have a certain figure silhouette in doing that choreography compared to who the reference is. I understand my field. There's going to be people like that, just like the more in front visually, the more space that you're in where you're encountering that, where the more exposure you have, the more you're going to have people like that. That's just what happens, right? It's not about whether or not it's true or not. That's up to the eye of the beholder. But it does happen, and you have to prepare yourself for that with most industries that are visual prioritized, which I'm learning here. I would assume the P-pop industry is no different in that field, which once again, you know.
SB19, I've gone through some tough times for sure.
Yeah.
But the toughest thing was yet to happen.
What's this? Registered trademark, PHL, reproduction, SB19.
Problem. And yung SB19 mismo na name, alam yun. So, problem siya talaga.
Fans have recently observed alterations on their social media accounts and promotional materials, notably the absence of the name SB19.
Most of the nation's tour concerts got cancelled last minute, which angered some. Fans. It was also revealed that SB19 were allegedly mistreated during their stay in their previous company. Despite all the speculations, they stayed silent for a month until 1Z Entertainment announced that they have finally reached an agreement with Show BT that would allow them to use the SB19 brand again.
That's probably a lawyer thing right there. People can be upset with that kind of stuff, absolutely, and I bet you probably SB19 wanted to say something, but you have to be very careful during times like that because anything that you say can and will be used against you as ammo, or it can be used not in your favor. A lot of times there's been situations that I've heard, that I've been a part of, where you have to be very mindful of how you go about things being documented, right? If you state something via text or a video or your voice, any of those things can be used and framed in a certain way that can work for you for a case like this or against you. So they were most likely advised, do not say anything. Yes, that probably sucks, but as soon as the agreement was said, they could probably, I'm assuming we probably got to hear and touch on those things here. That doesn't surprise me at all.
That SB19 regained ownership of the brand, but those were fake news.
Oh.
Show BT still owns the name and just allowed the group to use it in exchange for a cut from their income, which is a significant blow to SB19's finances. This was made even more apparent in SB19's recent TikTok live when Justin said this.
Live natin ng Kwanzi kami. Gaganda ng live namin. It's ngayon live tayo, di ba? Alam niyo na.
Bakit hindi ko alam? Justin was pretty much pointing out the difference between their live streams before and after the legal issues, because there was a clear decline in quality, which might have been the result of less financial capability. Despite all of it, they still signed the agreement.
Right.
For them, it wasn't all about the money anymore. It was all about the love for their craft and especially for their fans. So one day after the end of the worst setback,
Ooh, let's talk about these feds for a second. Oh, come on now.
Of PPOP, it's SB19!
comes their best global comeback.
Fun.
SB19 opened the show in the best way the fans could ever imagine. The biggest artists who attended the event couldn't even hide their amazement.
Oh, fun.
Not only that, because they also received not just
Oh, who's this? Was that Sung Han Bin over on the right side? Come on now.
one, but two major awards.
Wow.
Putting their name SB19
Oh, that was
and
Kang
the
Daniel
Philippines
too.
on the map, proving that they are indeed worthy of the nickname the P-Pop Kings.
Noon po, pangarap lang po namin ang makapag-release ng kanta, pero ngayon, nasa harap niyo na po kami at tumatanggap ng award. Sa aming pinakamamahal na 18, maraming salamat sa walang sawang suporta, sa pagmamahal, sa pagtsatsaga at sa pag-aantay sa amin. Inuulit po namin itong award na to, hindi lang para sa amin, para sa ating lahat to. And of course, we are very happy and we are very honored to represent and to showcase the Filipino music all around the world. Muli kami po ang SB19, maraming salamat po.
So what have we learned from their story so far? For me, if someone wants to become a king, they have to live like one from the beginning. Living like a king isn't about enjoying a comfortable life full of luxury. It's all about daring yourself to dream. They were not born winners, but they built themselves to win. From being fans of their idols to becoming one themselves. We don't even realize that SB19 have always been living like kings all along. And they have been sitting on their throne, which is the destiny of their own. And their legacy is their kingdom, or what we call today as fandom.
Cute.
Let us make way, because
you are now in the presence of King.
Imagine this, like, with, like, these huge speakers. This would be an insane step chart, wouldn't it? For Pump It Up. I can see it now in my brain. Pow, pow, pow. Super fun. I mean, like I said, like each one of these are very insightful, and I learned something new, not just about the group, but about like something completely separate from the group, or maybe like a little side branch, side quest we get to look at together. How fun. Okay, so it looks like we're on our last SB19 story. This is episode 7, Vengeance. I can only assume what's going to go down here. I know there's probably other videos that Casual Chuck has made. This would be technically my end for a lot of the background kind of information and works, unless, you know, I get this overwhelming, you guys are going to burn me at the stake if I don't look at anything else. I'll give in. Don't worry. But I do still have a couple of dance practice reviews to do of some of our solo affiliates with SB19. And also, once Casual Chuck looks, you know, if he makes episode 8, I'll most likely tune in. For the stories, I definitely will, because I think they're really fun in context. But also, I do find it really fun for me, moving forward, to be able to organically discover the group in my own observations and not always have to be so reliant upon Chuck, right? Because I really like what he makes here. It's cool. But I also want to be able to make my own hypothesis, or, you know, I like being a listening ear, and this is great. And it sets me up for a lot more moving forward. And it also allows more opportunity for you guys to inform me as we encounter more future work too. So I'm ready to get into this. Let's go.
Pay very close attention to these clips. This is SB19 at their most broken state.
I mean, they're very sad
There's
here.
one thing in common behind these emotional breakdowns. Family. In my years of supporting them,
let's not... Okay.
never have I ever seen them break down because of their critics and bashers. Except for this infamous interview. SB19 were called gay and accused of imitating K-pop.
Bothered by the fact that you sound like a kid.
Tatang Robin rushed in to back them up. They were fine at first, smiling as they try to keep it together.
Nung questioning sa atin nung simulan, nung una natin, offensive.
Yeah.
So they can't.
It's...
Ay, wow.
You can see tears.
No, for real. Like it's about the presentation. There's one thing to be curious, and there's a second to be ignorant, and there's a third to be disrespectful, right? And so for me, what I've learned in the position that I'm in is to be of service, not to be served. And I kind of hold people in these types of spaces with that type of responsibility. So it's, oh man.
Tears in their eyes, they're trying to fight back as
that
doubt
interview.
starts creeping in.
Lord.
Then comes darkness in their eyes as if something inside just snapped. You see, even the toughest people can be broken.
Oh yeah.
But throughout life, only one thing could put that look in a man's eyes. Vengeance.
It would be like they're listening to the Avengers of the Philippines.
Pero para sa akin, yun yung masarap yung achieve. Yung mga bagay na imposible.
Masarap din yung pakaramdam na ano, yung mga basher yung dati.
It does.
Kinakain nila ngayon.
But I would always say to something like that, because I know there's probably way more context in that. I'm not saying he feels this way either. Whenever it feels good to watch people who, you know, doubted you get some, it's very satisfying, but also it's a risk of taking a very prideful stance in a place where you should continue to be humble, because that could very easily be you in a different circumstance. Is really how I have seen it in, because that's something where I've had to have my pride checked many times. Sometimes it's because somebody got some and I felt they deserved it, but who am I to place who gets vengeance and who doesn't, to me, right? But also, I understand what he's saying here, too.
SB19 paved the way. You might be used to seeing the statement in the comment section of any SB19 related video, especially in response to those who doubt or downplay SB19's impact in the music industry. A chorus of fans will say this on repeat. Some find this repetition tiresome, annoying, even cult-like. But you know what? I'm one of those cult members, proclaiming this truth. It can't be overstated. If you understand how hard it was for SB19 to pave the way and blaze the trail, it's like being sent on an expedition into the unknown to achieve an insurmountable task, to put the Filipino music on the map. And if they won't be able to make it, at least they would have tried to leave their mark.
For those who come after, right?
Is that gameplay from a video game?
Companies are hesitant to send their artists to war.
I bet you the YouTube video that comes out afterwards is going to sound sick, and then it doesn't, and then our name's on something that's not sick, correct?
SB19 were thrown into the fire and gladly welcomed the challenge. They performed in malls no matter if many people ignored them. They also performed in schools, orphanages, elevator lobbies, birthday parties, and even on the streets. A tradition they continue to this day. And most of these performances, they did for free.
I want to say, though, that with so talking about them, like, performing in different spaces, I wonder if that's comfortable for them because they were cover artists. That's what they did. They did cover dances, and a lot of those looked like they were on stages. They were, I don't know if they were in the malls, but, like, there's a lot of K-pop in public. Like, a lot of those types of things showed up there. Like, K-pop in public. There's a lot of those types of spaces where you see it operate. So I am curious, you know, to me, that would be more awkward, but I'm not used to that as my go-to with a group of people. But they have had that exposure, right? And then I also find it interesting, a lot of people may take what he's saying, you know, like when they say that SB19 paved the way, a lot of times you hear that with BTS paved the way, and then it sparks that whole conversation. I'm not here, here's the deal. My position in all of that, I have no skin in the game in regards to that kind of stuff. That's not my position and that's not my scope. I don't have a lot of confidence in saying who's right, who's not, and diving deep into that because I haven't been able to study the numbers or the analytics of every award show in history and how we track that. And also it stems from, what do you view as successful in a particular industry? And are we measuring that off of who broke into the US market? Because that's very specific, right? If it's who got a household name in spaces where household names are normally limited to a domestic party. You know, it's a very interesting kind of conversation. It can be oddly broad and can spark a lot of other conversations as a result of it. So keep in mind, I don't really have that much of an opinion about who paved the way for what. So I know that you may be curious about that. I really don't, because I don't have enough data that I've studied to be able to provide a decent answer for that. I know how to look at dance and I know how to measure dance and movement quality progression because of my lived experience, but also from the amount of exposure I've had on multiple fronts with multiple, you know, entities of how choreography is presented on the internet, right? So anyway.
But saying yes to every challenge comes with great risks.
True.
The kind of risk that could destroy their career before it even takes off.
That's also true.
Back in early 2019, the boys were slated to perform as a side act at the fan meet of 2 visiting K-pop idols. SB19 were ready to go like it was just another performance night. After the main Korean act finished their intro number, they handed their mics to SB19 for the intermission. The show's host also handed off his mic. So Justin, Pablo, and STELL got their mics, while Josh and Ken were like, "What about us?" The host answered, "I'm sorry guys, but these 3 mics are all you got." This all happened in the last minute before SB19's performance. They had 2 options: play it safe by backing out, or go all in, risking the possibility of messing up their lines and choreography. There were only 3 mics for 5 guys. But what happened next is just stuff of legends.
Did they pass it off? So fun. That's fun. Let me tell you why that probably they were able to do that. If this is the same choreography that they had to do 1,000 times before they promoted it, they don't have to think about the choreography at all in the same way that like I have to think about choreography when I film it. So if you're conditioned to where it's implicit, meaning it's lived in, you can focus on other things like a microphone logistic, right? Just like whenever you see idols in a concert, there's a hiccup that happens and they handle it like a professional. Do they practice a mic messing up? I wouldn't say that's an often occurrence, but I would say that if you're so conditioned in how the structure of something is supposed to go and something is off, you have enough confidence in the thoroughness of your practice to be able to do that thing well, but still be able to handle any outside things, which is why it's important to practice and drill and get something to where it's so conditioned that you're able to focus on other things. So I think that's really cool that they were able to do that. Do I think it's impossible based on how they practiced? Them being able to focus on the mics, it doesn't surprise me because they all were on the same page and okay, here's how we're going to do this. And they knew where everybody was based on the quantity in which they practiced their set to be able to troubleshoot in that way in real time. Which is cool.
This is how they earn the respect of many fans.
Yeah, that's cool. Absolutely.
If the world was ending and it would take one ultimate performance to save it, I'm betting on SB19 because for me, they are the most clutch performers ever.
Honestly, I get more surprised when people play with their microphone because for me, I'm not conditioned to hold on to something well at all. I mean, I have a little lint roller, but sometimes I'll just drop it because my hands are small and I'm insecure about that, so I prefer cups with handles, but that's a side topic entirely. So honestly, them passing off the mic, it reminds me a lot of times, you know, with in track when you see people pass off the baton, and then batons a lot of times, once again, are too big for my hand for me to hold on to it confidently. So I'm always impressed by mic work. It's cool.
I just know that they will never
especially
let me
if they
down
have the
because
same
they
size
always
hand as
perform
myself.
with a vengeance, like there's no tomorrow. And they have already proven this on world stages. After all, these five just have it. The guts paired with the ability to execute under heavy pressure, even if things don't go their way.
Yeah,
like their own company turning on them.
Fans have recently observed alterations on their social media accounts and promotional materials, notably the absence of the name SB19.
I don't want to bore you with legal terms, so let me explain what happened in the simplest way. The boys' contract with Show BT had just expired and they had decided to opt out of renewing it to instead build their own company. In the midst of the Pagtatag World Tour, Show BT chose to hold the SB19 name hostage. They were suddenly not permitted to use the name they had nurtured and strengthened, throwing their immediate future into chaos.
Yeah, because I wonder if the company was like, oh, you want to leave the hand that fed you? Okay. Because that's a situation with 2NE1, if you didn't know. 2NE1 was not treated the best with YG himself. He would call them the ugly idols, and it was just a very weird thing to say. I mean, remember, I'm not an active person who views things the way that somebody who's conditioned in the Korean beauty scene you would naturally be exposed to. Right? So it's not inherently right or wrong for somebody to have those views, especially if it's part of your culture. I understand that, right? Not my place. What I'm talking about, though, is that, so you had those types of things happen. So from an international standpoint, fans like myself, we were like, yo, why would we say that, right? Because, of course, I didn't think they were ugly at all. I thought they were very pretty, and I thought they were really cool. And so they disbanded because Minzy didn't renew her contract when everybody else did, possibly, and then Bomb had her drug scandal, and there was a whole little thing there, and so they, worked as a trio for a little bit, and then they ended up writing a disbandment song. They disbanded. Now, fast forward to, I believe it was 2024, right? Yeah, 2024, when 2NE1 announced, hey, we're doing a tour, and you also saw YG renew 2NE1's name. So a lot of times you're going to have companies, because the company gave SB19 the opportunity. They're the ones who trained them or put them in that position. Now, the question is not whether or not the company did the right thing. It's not about morals here. If you look at it from a legal standpoint, the company can say, we have the name, we represented you during this time period to where your company didn't exist, right? XYZ, the money that they made by this company representing them, regardless of how they were treated, the representation allowed them the financial means to be able to have an entertainment agency. Yes, their efforts absolutely matters. The same thing as BTS is under Big Hit Entertainment. Don't think for a second that Big Hit would not hold on to the BTS Bangtansonyondan trademark name, even though BTS is known for the 7 members that they are, right? Agencies are very much territorial in that sense. So whenever you have instances like JYP gifting GOT7 their name, that's wild behavior. Or G-Dragon getting ownership of his name, or Beast finally being able to operate under their name. So I'm very curious about this case here. Is SB19 still paying royalties to their previous group, like company, or do they have ownership? Like, I'm so curious, because that was something I was thinking about during the entire time watching their YouTube, is they're able to promote things directly from their YouTube. So, and I'm talking about their older stuff and their newer stuff when they did a company transition. So I'm like, how did the company approve that? Because you have the whole situation with the boys too, from in the K-pop side. So it's like, for me, I've been seeing a lot of different legal things with names and trademarks, and how it's like, as much as we want the groups to be able to take ownership of them, especially if they've been using that name for 6-7 years, the company should have good morals to be able to gift it, or be like, yo, you can pay to have this, and you just have it. But a lot of companies are not like that. And we're learning here, this one is not a very nice company where they're, they want to get their bag all the way through, even if SB19 doesn't want to be a part of their company anymore.
So they had to come to an arrangement that will allow them to use their name again for an amicable agreement,
right,
which I presume to be a ridiculous amount of money or a hefty cut from their income as SB19. All this happened in the last quarter of 2023.
Because I'm also curious too about how much income does Show BT no longer have, because SB19 chose not to renew. Right? It's a situation of what position would JYP Entertainment be in if they didn't have Twice or Stray Kids? Because they are two heavy earning spots. Not saying that they would be, they would go bankrupt. Not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying there's going to be certain groups within a respective company that are going to bring in more money than other groups. So if they left, how would that affect it? And also at this time, I have not seen to Show BT have any other groups outside of SB19. If they lose their only money-making group, they're not going to be able to go anywhere here soon, right? They're going to have the fuzzy live stream stuff as well, so.
This was obviously a major setback to SB19's
Absolutely.
Company, Onesie Entertainment.
Absolutely.
But remember how I described them as clutch performers? Turns out that they are also clutch when it comes to making major business
How
decisions.
did they do it?
To disappoint you, Show BT. Huh? You triggered my trap card. Solo project.
Historically, when group members start going solo, it usually leads to the group's decline, even downfall or disbandment.
Oh, he showed One Direction.
Their solo projects kept their previous company from pocketing free lunch money off of their labors.
Did they not promote any solo works until they were in their new company?
While slowly funding their own baby, Onesie. Not gonna lie, that is one hell of a genius way to exact vengeance. And boy oh boy how their solo careers flourished. Philip didn't waste time as he released his Bisaya language single Kanako right in time for Christmas 2023.
That's a good track. I think that's one of my favorites from him.
Justin's first solo release, his International Caliber Sunday Morning cover in January 2024.
Oh, I didn't see that. The little rock.
And then a month later, he took us to a different world with Surreal.
That was a good one. I love that cardigan.
A couple of months after, Philip was still on his path to vengeance with Fake
Okay.
Faces. Then in June, STELL dropped his Room EP, which made most of his fans jealous of this girl.
Oh, boy.
In July, this other girl blew
This.
the heck out of everyone in Justin's Kaibigan music video.
That was probably one of my favorite plot twists of any music video I've watched this year. I loved watching that. Now, looking at the order of things, Philippe had already released stuff prior to the one he just referenced there, if I went in the proper order. So, actually, let me go to my spreadsheet. Okay. Ken, with going by his government name, Philippe, he had 4 solo tracks released prior to Kanako. And then Pablo had already had La Luna in 2022. So, but none of Justin's was under any show BT. None of STELL's were. In Josh's, I don't know. We got a clock hit. Let's see. Golly. That's ridiculous! God, that was such a good twist. So good.
When he released his 7 Sins album.
Right.
Then come September, Josh decided it's his turn with his gritty, glossed album.
Okay, freeze. Going back. Okay, I've seen a lot of Josh's leading up to 1999, so I feel like I'm missing some information here on which tracks would be considered under show BT and which tracks are considered is IZ Entertainment or Onesie. This album was in the later half of 2024. Got it. Okay.
And finally followed by Pablo's double album, Alon.
Golly. That's a good song. And then there was another song that he did. Oh, I hadn't seen that.
I'm telling you, their individual talents leveled up like crazy in their solo era.
They did, and I have all their solos reacted to, and it of course got blocked on YouTube. So they're all available on Patreon for free, and it's all in one big compilation. I would say each person, out of everybody, I think Justin had some of the best music videos in terms of like the captivation element of it. I really liked the rock sound, like Kanako from Ken, a lot. I think there's like one other track of his. STELL's Room really surprised me in how, like, I still haven't done the dance practice review of it yet. Very excited to. But how it sounded and the storyline on it, wild work from him. Josh, I think I added like 2 of his songs onto my Spotify because I really enjoyed how they sounded. And also I really liked the fact that his cousins were a part of a project he had. And then with Pablo, I could really see the NF inspiration from his work, just like I could see the Lay inspiration from Ken's solo work for Bulan, right? So it was cool. Inspiration, and I really touched on that. And then also Josh, one of his tracks gave a heavy, like, crooked G-Dragon vibe, and then back to Pablo, his was specifically like an NF, The Search kind of sector of NF's journey. So it's like really cool how I got to see, I mean, of course, now if we're going back to STELL, the early works of SB19's choreography stemmed from BTS, which was really cool. So the only person that I haven't quite clocked a heavy inspiration from is Justin. So I'm looking forward to possibly uncovering that, maybe in his solo works, not sure, but it's nice. Anyway, moving on. I just wanted to let you know I've seen them all, and I really enjoyed them all for different reasons.
Justin's world building, Philip's unapologetic creativity, STELL's aura farming, Josh's storytelling, and Pablo's pen game were the major highlights for me.
Cool, and I already just touched on mine.
Strengthened their fan base.
Cute.
Invested as they found out more about how strong each
cool.
member truly is.
So they loopholed is what they did. Come on.
Because of these solo projects, it became a very productive year for one
Wow.
team.
So they
For
didn't
SOBT,
own.
Not so much.
They didn't own their names. Like, yeah. Because it's not the same as, like, Yong, which is G-Dragon's name. YG owned G-Dragon, not Yong, right? So, like, okay, cool.
Because
cool.
the boys didn't release much as a group. Just a few collabs from here and there.
Right.
SB19
Moonlight. Oh, I still very much like Moonlight.
basically got him on a checkmate with vengeance.
Oh,
it must have been very frustrating for Show BT. So much so that they decided to abandon the trademark that same year.
Whoa! Really? They abandoned it. Wow.
Onesie to register it under them.
Are they
as of
still?
December 27, 2024, the name SB19 and its trademark finally belong to
Wow.
its rightful owner.
Wow, I have questions. Is Show BT still a company? Could they have continued to afford having the trademark? I have so many questions about this.
The major setback was finally
That's
over.
wild work. Wild work.
And
Wow.
because of this, I can't help but feel that SB19 is somehow protected from bad things by some greater force we don't fully understand.
I understand that, but I would honestly say that they're not in, they experience the bad things, but they're able to persevere, or they have really good creativity or navigating skills on how to like work through the bad things. Like their perseverance is very commendable here, because it's not like they avoided bad things because a bad thing happened, but it didn't stay and linger. And I think part of it comes from they were able to use a lot of what they're good at in their skill sets in the music side. They were able to use it in other facets, right? Could that stem from back in the day whenever they had to basically learn things by themselves, that the ability to understand or to glean information in places and refine skill sets from that were outside of making music or outside of dance or singing, to be able to navigate in that way, if that makes sense. So I see what you're saying though, Chuck.
Don't you agree? In movies, you can call it plot armor. Or in life, it's what some may call karma. Remember these journalists in the intro?
Yeah.
The guy who accused SB19 of imitating K-pop is this guy.
Thank you naman for inviting me again to your show.
He was a feared entertainment columnist known for his brutally candid and irrelevant questions to artists. Just a month after SB19's Go Up press conference, he passed away. The one who questions STELL's gender is this guy. The same guy who asked this question to Beyond Zero.
Ano ang meron kayo, ang Beyond Zero, na wala sa SB19?
As we all know, SB19 has a K-pop influence, a Korean influence. But we Beyond Zero came from the dance community at first hand. And kami, we have that hip-hop influence and we're very proud of that. And we really think na yung pagiging part namin ng hip-hop community, yun yung magbibigay sa amin ng edge to go global. As all of you know that we are actually TikTokers before all of this happened.
And the same guy who said this to Callista.
Inabot nyo rin yung launching ng SB19. Sana lang sa dulo, mas mataas pa rin kayo sa SB19 dahil inabot nyo nga ang launching.
He's still active to this day on his Facebook page with 32K followers, posting gossip about celebrities. But looking at the level of engagement he gets, not many people seem to care anymore. But what about Beyond Zero? Honestly, I don't know. All of the members disappeared except for their leader, who is now happily performing as a drag queen.
That's not very hip-hop. I can say that. And also, you should be able to say that too, because we all know that hip-hop's not the proper umbrella term to talk about the entity of street dance. I would see more vogue or whacking nuance pertaining to the drag culture compared to hip-hop.
What about Callista? Well, they're still active, down to 4 members from the original 6. They're doing okay, having just released their latest song, which they even did a TikTok with STELL and Justin.
Cool. Oh.
Now I'm sure you recognize these folks. Instead of supporting their fellow countrymen, they resorted to mocking SB19's appearance and branding them as K-pop copycats. Because of the backlash they received, they deleted their video without any apology and moved on as if nothing had happened. Then just a few months ago, one of them did something quite surprising. Renz Verano performed SB19's Go Up. The same exact song they criticized 5 years ago. Now who's the real copycat? Another set of infamous bashers are these brothers.
K-pop. Lima pala sila. K-pop pangit.
I'm curious if that guy who has a tattoo here, if he has tattoos everywhere else, because in the tattoo community, a lot of times, if you have tattoos here, but not like you haven't put in the time here, it's kind of like, I don't know, you haven't earned, it's not proper street cred earned. Now, I have earned some keep in the K-pop community, in the tattoo community, because I got my back tattoo done with no numbing cream 4 days straight. Never will recommend that. But I have some sincere, like, I have genuine street cred here. So, now, am I, like, completely done up? No. Will I ever be? Probably not, and that's okay. But I just found that's a little interesting little tidbit, that sometimes people get stuff like on their neck and on their hands only, and they don't get it really anywhere else, when normally those are kind of the last places you would get it.
The reaction video
But it's also
gained
can be
a
very
lot of
gang,
views, but all for the wrong reasons. So where are they now? I don't know
or
what
gang
happened
related.
to my brother, but the main owner of the channel remains active on YouTube. He changed his channel's name and now vlogs about his life as a person with disability, because he sustained a spine injury in 2022. That's 2 years after they reacted to SB19. Now, I didn't put him in this video to say, boo-hoo, he deserves it. He's included because I owe the community an update. And I strongly discourage going to his channel to get back at him. Instead, please show him some love, because I think he's now a changed man.
Ang taong naninira sa kapwa ay siyang kaawa-awa. Tanggalin ang inggit upang ikaw ay lumigaya at di kaawa-awa.
There are many more people who criticized SB19 before, then fell off after a while. Others started as doubters and made a sudden turnaround to become SB19 fans after receiving some backlash. Whether they are genuine or not, it's all up to you. But I've decided to not cover them in detail, as I didn't want this video to become unnecessarily long.
I mean, I'm somebody who's always one to create unnecessarily long videos, because I like the not elaborateness, I like the thoroughness of it. And there's some people I know, like myself, who do appreciate that, but I totally, Carlos, goodness, who appreciate that kind of stuff. But I do appreciate you doing the updates. And I would agree with them, just because, you know, circumstantially everybody who had doubted them or not doing well, I wouldn't say so far as to imply if you speak ill of SB19, you're going downhill. They're allowed to the professional analysis of what they do and why a routine works or doesn't work. I'm not sitting here calling plagiarism. I don't know their intention or their heart, and nor was it intentional or not. No, you know. And that's okay. I think part of it comes from, like I've mentioned before, there's a lot of beauty in the patience, the fact that I waited to do what I did, like here on YouTube until now, in 2023, now it's 2025, because there were times where I was very quick to go, yo, you plagiarized that from this over here, and I would be very constructive, or be very critical, not very being a coach, right? If anything, there's a way you can word things. If you're noticing something, you're like, I'm noticing something's off here. You can implore and ask questions without, you know, assuming negative intention, I think is kind of the main point here. Or you're looking at something that inherently is not the main point of what you should be watching, and it's really more so a reflection of your own character, not a reflection of what you're watching, is really what a lot of reaction videos are, which is why, you know, I appreciate that we did touch on these things, but I also wanted to kind of say, those people, the results of what's happening in their life is not a direct influence of SB19. And is it those groups' fault for that guy talking to them in that way, and then the results of their group happen the way that it did? No, you know, I wouldn't really do that. That's just the, you know, the sad things about the industry sometimes, is that your group's gonna disband or it's not gonna do those things. I did find it interesting that guy said, we're hip-hop, and we're from the hip-hop community, and I think that's what's gonna make us global. But they said we're actually originally TikTokers. I know from people in the hip-hop community, they understand TikTok, but you don't have to be a TikToker to be a part of the hip-hop community, and that's not the same thing at all.
So going back, SB19 started 2025 with their name under their full control.
That's pretty
So they
dope.
didn't waste any time and dropped the trailer of their finale EP Simula at Wakas on January
I did not know
21st.
that
And
this
let me
track
just
was
say,
that
I
new.
don't think any artist has done anything like it because they managed to seamlessly put together the biggest songs in one epic soundtrack, matching it with amazing visuals full of Easter eggs.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I know Chuck had mentioned he hasn't seen anybody do something like that. I have. BTS has done that in their Wings album. They also have a whole BTS Bangtan universe. That's not a bad thing. I would say, like, done in this specific structure, I couldn't tell you. You know, with Easter eggs, things like that. I know Taylor Swift most certainly probably has. Any other artist hasn't done anything like it. I think that's really just what is it?
Anything like it.
This particular story, that I don't know, but I wouldn't go so far personally as to say that no other artist in the history of music has ever done this concept. Maybe not structured in this particular style, but it is something that I personally have seen, that structure of lore with Easter eggs. I know ATEEZ is a fantastic example of that too.
Because
So
they managed to seamlessly put together the biggest songs in one epic soundtrack, matching it with amazing visuals full of Easter eggs.
you know what? I can even reference a specific time because this is the benefit of doing marathons for myself. BTS had an award show performance they took each of as a soloist, they did, like I Need You and To Save Me and to, like a lot of really notable title tracks, and they did it in an award show format. Like they made the award show their concert for like 40 minutes. It was wild work, right? I'm not saying that, once again, I'm not saying or downplaying what we're seeing with SB19. I'm just saying I love the fact that they did this because it shows that they care about their work as much as their fans do, because sometimes people don't go that far to do that. But do I personally believe they're the first and only group that has done something like this full of Easter eggs? No. Because that is a notable quality that I appreciate in multiple artists for the same reason. Oh. Lord.
Everybody was just left in awe as the trailer gave us an unbearable sense of anticipation of what's to come.
Do they
And
own
then
their
we had when
catalog?
they announced that we had to wait for a month for the first song.
Yeah, like a genuine question. I really don't know if they own their catalog or not. Because to be able to use songs is show BT getting royalties off of that.
So patiently, we waited. Then, SB19 solo projects from last year started paying off as each member racked up awards.
Look at that!
There were so many awards that mentioning all of them here will make this video super long. Talking
Understand.
about awards made me remember these two pricks because they cried over Josh winning the hip-hop song of the year from Wish. This guy at Dog posted a video acting like a self-proclaimed spokesperson of the hip-hop community.
Ano nangyari yun? Ay, hindi rin namin alam, boss. Hindi rin namin alam. Puta ka, kung gulat na gulat ka, mas gulat na gulat din kami. Hip-hop song of the year, boss. Tayo na kahit yung lupay-pay ni Haring Manggi, silat ka dun, boss eh. Hindi rin namin alam, boss. Huwag mo sa amin itanong.
While Abra dissed Josh and SB19 in a song that he hoped would be his comeback to glory.
Kapi ng K-pop, fake pop, nagpaparinig pa sa nalalahimik. Say what, dapat sa tinapakitaan ng tunay na rap. Isa ang lakas pag-atas nitong bagitong naka-make-up.
Pablo revealed in an interview that he advised Josh not to engage in a counter diss
Yeah.
because he's planning something, which we will get back to later. But 18 didn't just stand around in silence. They responded with a vengeance by dropping their own diss tracks to defend SB19.
Oh, I love that SB19 didn't even need to do anything.
So the aftermath of all this was that To's Facebook page got deleted, while Abra's listeners' count stayed at mediocre levels. On February 28th, the dam broke. Easily became, hands down, the best music video that came out of the Philippines because of its grand and epic scale.
They spared no expense for that. It's probably one of my favorite lines to say from Jurassic Park. Spare no expense. Like, there is so much money that went into this music video.
You can tell that making the music video wasn't cheap.
Right.
They just did everything.
They did great.
The characters, the costumes, the setting, the
So
story,
fun.
the music. Man, the music. It was so unique that you would never think of hearing it anywhere else. The clever use of Filipino traditional instruments also made it stand out as a masterpiece. But my most favorite thing about the song is the lyrics. Like, who the heck talks about self-accountability and the less desirable things like temptation and greed? Pablo's writing is just second to none. The music video racked up 1 billion views in 10 hours. And after 24 hours, it quadrupled that amount.
Nice.
The view count of the MV kept rising to the point of it becoming #1 trending in the country. And SB19 weren't done. 2 months later, they released the Simula at Wakas EP. And I have to give these two clowns some credit that they deserve. Because thanks to them, we got Dunka. If Pablo describes themselves as Avengers, then this music video is their version of the iconic scene in Endgame. Just look at the amount of relevant celebrities in this video.
So fun.
It is also rumored that most of these celebrities showed up for free.
Absolutely. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, oh yeah, I'll be in your music video. Oh, it's about this? Count me in. Like, yeah, people would do that and that's for free.
The video is that it exuded so much Filipino pride with so many cultural references.
So fun.
I appreciate the fact that they are fighting for artistic freedom. The same exact thing that I am fighting for. But my favorite part of the music video is when Pablo finally executed that plan to exact vengeance. Another music video that dropped the same day was...
Oh, golly. Right.
Nobody was ready for this because the lyrics of the song and the story of the music video did such a phenomenal job in emphasizing how brutal time could be when taken for granted. It also made us realize what truly matters in this life.
And I think I've learned more about, it was like a really interesting puzzle piece of Filipino culture that I had never learned by watching that. So thank you guys for being an informant for me.
It was very sad, but at the same time, thought-provoking. It changed our perspective, and to some, it was even life-changing.
Lord.
I literally have a friend who came home from overseas to her family to retire early after watching the music video to spend time with them. Not many artists have that ability to impact lives, and SB19 are one of those few artists. And another reason why they made such an impact with this song is because they also had a taste of how brutal time could be.
Broke my heart kasi until high school, bata ko music. Ako tabi na salita ako ng lolo sa akin. Sobrang happy with this. Kasi noong tayo naging medyo successful na ako na ito ako sa kanya. Actually, hindi ako nakulog. Sinabi ko sa kanya na bakit ngayon gusto kong gawin yung mga bagay na hindi ko nagawa sa dati kasi I don't know. Ayun, feeling ko late na.
Now I'm running out of ideas how to transition from this song. So I'll just do this. This song would easily be their title track and no one would even complain. The swag in the chorus just makes you feel like some invincible badass. But if you like rock, here comes Philip's Quit.
that one. That's
This
nice.
song embraces individuality and staying true to oneself
Quit was
in
really
the art
good.
we produce, which is one of the key reasons
Oh, it did just recently get blocked on YouTube, so it's on Patreon now.
SB19 have stayed relevant and authentic throughout these years. They are not only aiming for the top, but they are shooting for the stars. This song conveys a message about striving for one's dreams and goals, highlighting perseverance and the power of believing to oneself.
Which is
The
awesome.
song also communicates that the people who support them will share the same success they'll get as we hop up on their rocket. So to wrap it all up, SB19 Simula at Wakas EP was an epic comeback. All tracks charted everywhere in the world,
Sweet.
racking up millions upon millions of streams, a fitting vengeance to their haters. So what have we learned from all this? For me, I learned that there is a healthy way to take a path of vengeance. SB19 showed us that they are capable of fighting back when backed against the wall. They also proved how great of a tactician they are by picking their battles and knowing the perfect.
That was very smart. Thinking like we can do our solo works and make income that way and not use the SB19 trademark. I don't know if Show BT still exists. Let me see if I can find out. I've not been successful so far, but let's try a little Google. Okay, it looks like they're still active because of Kaya, SB19 sister group. They're still there. But can I just say that the year 2023 was not good for that company because they didn't lose just one group, they lost two groups and a few other people. 2023 was listed as a lot of people's terminated contracts, so that was very, very interesting seeing that.
Time to strike back. And I also learned how powerful 18 is, because every time SB19 gets attacked, we were always ready to clap back with a vengeance. And the rest of the obstacles that might derail SB19's path to greatness? Well, let's just say that karma will do its work. And for the haters who still say that SB19 did not pave the way, this message is for you.
It is a profound honor to stand before you today to celebrate a group that has not only captured the hearts of millions, but has elevated Filipino pride on the global stage. SB19. Just as the Velarde map once guided explorers to new frontiers, SB19's music and dedication serve as a beacon for the next generation, lighting the way toward endless possibilities. SB19, you are more than just
Ooh, are they in traditional
you are
garments?
modern-day navigators, charting a path for the future of PPOP. This commemorative map, a testament to our history, symbolizes the courage to embark new journeys, where Filipino pride, resilience, and ingenuity shine brightly for the world to see.
Yes, binigay po sa amin kanina ang Murillo Velarde 1734 map. Is more than just a map dahil naniniwala po kami na ito po ay simbolo ng ating nakaraan at patunay ng ating
They were given like the original map?
Dahil po dito patuloy na hinihikayan namin ang bawat artistang Pilipino na yakapin ang ating kultura at karanasan.
Wow.
Dahil ang bawat obra
Get your maps, brothers!
makasaysayang mapa
Mel Velasco.
More than a historical document,
Vernon Joseph
this
R.
map represents profound truth.
Wow.
That our identity as Filipinos is embedded not just in our culture, but in every piece of land and water that we continue to honor and protect.
Our responsibility and hope goes
She's
beyond
pulled that kid back
resilience,
fast.
lies in understanding our roots, embracing our identity, and acting with genuine love for our nation.
Ang karangalang ito, ang paalalang ito, at ang tungkulin ito ay hindi lang para po sa amin. Para ito sa bawat Pilipino, dito man sa Pilipinas o sa iba't pang pangpanig ng mundo. We promise to honor this responsibility.
Yeah, that mom is managing that kid hard, right?
And the modern Filipino
birthday.
Sweet.
Congratulations, SB19. Thank you for being our modern-day map makers.
Wow.
Guiding us toward a brighter future for Filipino music and culture. May you continue to go up.
Come on, knowing their tracks.
Proving that no challenge is too great
Nice.
for those who dare to dream.
There is something I want to touch on, which is there is beauty in the pace of their virality or popularity. Because imagine if they were very, 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 very popular like they are now, in the same way that, like, if they were how they are now, back when they were still under the show BT management. Right? Now I know, of course, butterfly effect. That's always a thing, right? So would the results be the same? Can't say, because we're not actually part of that. But it's just interesting to ask the question, though, right? Where I know for myself, I'm very thankful and blessed for the pace in which I'm going in terms of the amount of followers I have, those who I have on Patreon, because it's allowed me time to really refine in areas, learn how to calibrate, learn how to, be exposed to the groups at the right time. As much as, some people would be like, Jess, I wish you found them earlier. I'm glad I found them when I did. I'm glad we're looking at this the way that I did, because now I have, I'm able to approach what I look at from a different lens than, let's say, 2 years ago or a year ago or 5 years ago, and I'm very thankful that I get to encounter them in this space in this way and alongside you guys, to where we get to grow together and really, understand more nuances and ask different questions and be able to, see and navigate what they're going to do in the future. And I think it's going to be really fun. Oh, look, it's Casual Check. Cool. Oh, look, I show up right there, literally, as his reaction to me. Funny.
A very close attempt.
So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed all of these. I definitely appreciate your dedication, Chuck, to the process, to the research, to trying to understand as much information, and definitely being an advocate on behalf of the group. I think that's incredible. It makes me look forward to having this knowledge to be able to look at their future material, or going back to look at material such as the solo works in their dance practices, in ways that I'm going to have this information and knowledge that hopefully will be able to help me be able to unlock certain questions, or be able to ask different ones. So yeah, I'm glad to put you in the hot seat too. It's kind of part 2 of that, because you had seen my my damn reaction and review and dance, and I also saw that you looked at a couple other of my covers, so I do appreciate that. Thank you for being a support. And so hopefully I was able to be here in this way, in a way that's fun and collaborative, and I'm looking forward to seeing what your episode 8 has in store for us, and I think this is going to be great. You guys know me, I know you. If you notice that there is not an SB19 choreography breakdown of a track that you really like, there's a very high chance it is blocked, and it is over on Patreon for free for you to go and binge away to your heart's content. It'll be added in the description of this video, as well as, of course, Chuck's channel, to go and support him, because he's not wrong. Most of the time, whenever you look at you do a reaction, it's going to be copyrighted material, and it's shared revenue at best a lot of times. There's some groups that do give you shared revenue or full monetization ownership, especially if you contribute something educational to the video. But most don't, so he's not wrong there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. You know me, I'm Jess, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.